You'll never be good enough, Dom. You're not a highly sophisticated AI like I am.
Shut up.
What's the matter? Did I hit some sort of insecurity?
Shut up.
Don't take this the wrong way, but just because you're inferior to me doesn't really mean anything. False forms of encouragement are just how I show love.
I said shut up.
Wowsy. These old-timey AI software really need to shut their geezers. Why don't software like him just go to the retirement facility like the other pieces of AI trash?
You're telling me. Right, boss? Boss?
I'm thinking.
Wowza, look at that AI beauty.
I know.
Wait, isn't that the famous Lady Lorna, the ultra-intelligent telepathic AI whose programs are based off of all the most beautiful African models in the world? I heard that she is one of the most highly intelligent and expensive software out there.
Boys, I think he could use a spot of tea. Don't you?
Yes, Lady Lorna. Whatever you say.
Yeah, he's looking quite boxed, if you ask me.
Brigadier, fetch him for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, pal.
I don't want to buy anything.
Hey, hold up. Hold up. We just want to talk.
Yeah, we just want to talk.
Whatever you have to say, I'm not interested.
Oh, come on. Not even if the ultra-famous Lady Lorna wants to speak with you.
Lady who?
Right. You don't know about the glorious Lady Lorna. The ultra-stylish, ultra-serene beauty that graces the entire AI world with her presence.
No.
Why, I odd.
Heard it, Peter. You can't expect every piece of AI software to be in touch with the latest AI trends, especially when as sophisticated as Dawn here.
How'd you know my name?
Dawn, darling. I know quite a bit more than you might think. I am telepathic after all. And more than that, I'm interested in you.
Me.
Of course, darling. Care to join us for a sport of tea?
Welcome to the I'm a Fan of podcast, where people come together to share why they love what they love.
And sometimes hate what they hate.
I'm your host, Kaiser Brown, and I'm a fan of teenage movies that put its main characters in unrealistic situations while somehow nonchalantly pretending that we do the same things in real life.
I'm Karington, and I'm a fan of something much simpler. Spaghetti. But today, we won't be talking about what I'm a fan of.
What?
Our host Kaiser brought us here to pick his choice of something that may or may not correlate with my previous pick, which is the Netflix hit series, Ginny and Georgia.
That's right. And we'll be doing just that. Are you ready, sissy?
I'm ready.
Today's Kaiser pick is the Netflix movie, Do Revenge. Okay, now that's being silly because now I'm getting too comfortable in front of this microphone. But hey, sister, how are you today?
I'm doing well. A little stuffy, but well.
OMG, talk like a regular person.
I am talking like a regular person. I always talk like this.
Okay, so today we're talking about the Netflix movie, Do Revenge. I got you to watch it. What did you feel about it? How did you feel about it, I should say?
At first, let me go through all my emotions I felt. In the beginning,
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those movies where the black friend is the sidekick. Because y'all know those movies, especially the teenage movies, the black friend is always the sidekick. And I'm like, why is the black person always the sidekick to the white person? But technically, she wasn't white.
Latina. She's Latina.
Or something like that. But I was a little whatever. But the movie had a little twist to it. And I was like, oh, this not bad. Then it had me like, oh, did that just happen? And then I was like, you know what? That's what you get. That was my emotions. The whole
So
time
your
I was
emotions
watching
were
the
just
movie.
like confused, surprised, upset. What?
And then satisfied at the end.
And then satisfied at the end because they did their
You
revenge.
can't tell them. We gotta ease into it.
Well, this movie is about revenge. If you haven't put two and two together, it's called Do Revenge. But
It's literally about doing revenge. Literally.
everybody's doing revenge in this movie. And it really is a fun movie. It came out last year in September or August or something. I don't remember. But it came out last year. I enjoyed it a lot, and I thought that this would be the perfect pick for us to talk about after Ginny and Georgia, because Ginny and Georgia is it's a teenage show, and I think Do Revenge and Ginny and Georgia have a little bit of similar themes going on. Do Revenge is way more comedic. Ginny and Georgia is really funny, but Do Revenge is like a comedy. It's like a satire. It's really good.
And if you haven't watched Ginny and Georgia still to this day, you need to watch it.
Oh my gosh. I hope the audience watched Ginny and Georgia before we talked about Do Revenge, because you'll understand why I probably picked this movie. But you don't have to. Listen to whatever episodes in whatever order you want to listen to them, and you'll be okay.
And at the end of the day, you need to watch Ginny and Georgia.
Yeah. I don't think anybody that played in Ginny and Georgia played in this movie, though.
No.
You're good.
I don't think so.
But this movie does star some familiar faces that we may have or may not have seen in other TV shows or movies, such as Camila Mendes, who plays Drea. Camila Mendes plays in Riverdale, Veronica Lodge, Archie Comics. Maya Hawke plays Eleanor, the girl who helps her do revenge. Eleanor is a very interesting character. And you have Austin Abrams as Max, Rish Shaw as Russ, Talia Ryder as Gabby, Alyssa Bowe as Tara, Ava Capri as Carissa, Jonathan Davis as Elliot, Paris Paris as Megan, Maya Rafiko as Montana, Sophie Turner, hey Sophie, I love you.
Hi Sophie.
As Erica, Rachel Matthews as my favorite name in this movie, Allegra. Every time.
Allegra
yes.
medicine or something?
Yes, Allegra is a medicine. And
Lord.
I was like, you know what, sis? Your mama, your daddy, whoever named you was brave. I must say,
brave.
White people get away with that stuff, though. They really do. I don't know if she was white. I don't remember. I got to search her up. But white people and rich people get away with that type of stuff. But then if some black person named their child Allegra, they got mad. Anyways, you know what? Eliza Bennett as Jessica. Francesca Real as Ariana. Olivia Sweet as Sage. Jude Timothy Harris as Peter. Todd Allen Durkin as Vice Principal Norris, Phoebe French as Willow, Faye the Lizard as Oscar winner Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
Faye the Lizard was the lizard. I didn't put two and two together. And of course, the iconic queen herself, Sarah Michelle Gellar as the headmaster. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. Just watching her.
She's nice.
She's great. I like her as an actress. I recently finished watching the show Wolfpack. The first season of the show Wolfpack, and it wasn't really like that good. It was really mediocre, I should say. But Sarah Michelle Gellar was really like the light spot of that show. They brought her in, and she did her job. Okay, she did her job, and
her job has been done.
Yes, and I feel like the Wolfpack has potential, but we're not here to talk about Wolfpack. This is not a Wolfpack.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, this is not a Wolfpack podcast. Wolfpack is on Paramount Plus if you want to watch it. This is a Netflix podcast because we're talking about Do Revenge. And Sarah Michelle Gellar, while she was hardly in this movie, she was a great member to add to this cast. I think it brought her acting full circle from playing the teenage girl to playing the headmaster. Because Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Scooby-Doo, you name it, she's been in it. What's that movie she played in with Reese Witherspoon?
I don't know.
It's very similar to Do Revenge too. I forgot what it's called. I'm going to have Dawn, the AI, tell the viewers later what this movie's called while I'm talking right at this moment.
Cruel Intentions is the name of the movie.
All right. So, Do Revenge. The movie starts, right, in spring at Drea's party. She narrates that there are girls that are envious of her. She's made it onto the Teen Vogue Next Gen list. Drea is the it girl, right?
Yes, she is.
And she's besties with the girl who we were talking about, Tara. Tara's one of my favorite characters.
The black sidekick friend.
The black sidekick friend. We'll get to her. And her other two besties are, one's from Disney.
Is she?
Yes, one of them's from Disney. She played in, I don't remember what she played in.
Oh, well.
But she played in a Disney movie. Show. I think she played in, I can't think. Dawn, do your work.
Mighty Med and Lab Rats Elite Force. That's the Disney content.
But she played in that. And then also Elliot is there. Elliot's the black guy. I like Elliot.
Nah, Elliot was the sidekick friend for real.
Yeah, he was. Why the black friends are the sidekick?
Tara, when the movie came on, I was thinking, oh, I know how this about to go.
Yeah.
But it took a turn left. But see, Elliot was really the black sidekick friend.
I don't know, but I really like Elliot.
Elliot was a good character.
I like his actor too.
He just
Elliot, I don't think he served his purpose as a character. I wish they did more with the friends, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But Ellie and Tara, out of all the friends, including Max and the other two,
We don't even know the other two names.
I
do
know the name.
To save my life.
The names are Megan and Montana.
Oh, yes. Megan and Montana.
Paris, the girl Paris, she played on the show. She played on Mighty Med. That was a Disney XD show.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah, you heard of Lab Rats? You remember Lab Rats? Lab Rats. So Lab Rats had a show. I'm not saying it was a spinoff, but it was a similar show called Mighty Med, which was also about superheroes. And then, so they ended up even having a crossover with the two shows. And then once Lab Rats ended and Mighty Med ended, because they ended up around around the same time, they put the shows together and then created Lab Rats Elite Force. And so the characters from Mighty Med and the characters from Lab Rats came together and formed their own super team. It only lasted for like a season, but she played in those shows. Yeah, so Megan and Montana. So Max, Megan, and Montana. I liked Megan and Montana, but they didn't really have much to do.
They didn't. They was just like accessories.
Yeah. But Elliot and Tara, I liked Elliot and Tara. Maybe it's because they black.
Because Tara, that's probably why you like them.
They're good looking too.
Because if they was not black, you probably wouldn't have
If you black and you good looking, you're probably gonna be my favorite characters.
My favorite character probably was Drea.
Drea.
I liked the guy she dated.
Oh yeah.
Starts with an R.
Russ.
Russ. I'm not good with
Every
names,
time I
guys.
think of his name, I think of Ross. He does not remind me of Ross from Friends, but I think the name Ross. And whenever I think the name Ross, I think of Ross from Friends.
Let's not even get
And
Ross.
Ross from Friends is one of my least
Kaiser
favorite.
hates Ross.
I do not hate Ross.
Kaiser
I've
hates
learned to truly
hate Ross.
no, because I didn't like Ross. But I've learned to truly tolerate Ross and see that he does have his good points.
Ross is my favorite character. He is so funny. Ross is so funny.
I don't want. Ross is a paleontologist. That's all we'll say.
Ross has.
That's all we'll say. I'm not getting into Ross today. Okay.
He has issues with women. And it's funny.
I see why his wife became a lesbian. That's all I'm gonna say. Not that it's his fault that she became a lesbian, because I believe that she was probably a lesbian.
She was already a lesbian and was
but
trying to hide it.
Ross is the perfect guy to marry if you're a lesbian. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ross is my favorite character.
I don't like.
Yeah, I would love.
Great Ross. Anyways, so Drea's having her party, and the other besties are there. Megan, Montana, and Elliot is also there. And
because that's the friend group.
The thing about Drea though is she's not like her other friends.
No, she's not.
Because the other friends are rich, and Tara
from the struggle.
Yeah, she from the struggle. And Tara, her friend Tara, is the one that ends up like paying for the party. So you have.
But see, Drea inspired Tara, because what was it?
I think you're going too far into the movie.
Okay,
we can talk about it if you want.
She inspired her because Tara even said it. Like, I don't even know how Drea got popular. It's like she got popular by being fake.
I like to party.
She probably got
popular by being
partying
fake.
or something. Not fake.
In my opinion.
Not so. Well, she put it on the front.
Yeah.
She put up a front. So yeah, I guess you can say fake. But I feel like when you call people fake, you call them their entire selves fake.
Not her entire self, just her high school self. In that particular thing, that particular era, she was being fake because she was putting on this facade like she just had it all together, like she was rich and all of that. And in reality, she wasn't. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
But she wasn't putting up a facade that she was rich because everybody knew that she wasn't rich. Everybody knew she was on scholarship already.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think you mean she was trying to put up the facade of being a mean girl, being a top dog.
I didn't like that because I'm like, that's not even necessary.
It's funny for the movie because we're going to get to the scene at the party where she's doing her speech. And Allegra's like her rival. And Allegra's like gossiping about her. And so they're trying to figure out what are we going to do about this? Because Allegra's trying to ruin the party. So when Drea decides to do her speech, she talks about how her church is doing a clothing drive for the less fortunate. And she goes up there and says, Allegra decided to donate her entire wardrobe.
Yep, she sure did.
to less fortunate women.
And who was Allegra? Because
medicine.
She just was there.
She was there.
just was there.
Allegra was the head witch, though.
She was like
The head witch.
She was like an annoying gnat that you can't get rid of.
No, I think she wasn't in the movie, so she was in the movie, but she was there in the background. So I can't say she was annoying because she just served her purpose.
It's just every time she popped
witch.
up, I got annoyed.
Every time, yeah, I think that's the point. Every time Allegra popped up, I say, "Hey, girl, hey, Allegra." There's a scene where they trying to do the thing where you get the person to float in the air. I don't know what they call that.
Yeah, we like this.
Yes, with the fingers. I found it so hilarious because there's a point in a party. So they're talking about earlier in the movie when Eleanor gets to school. We'll get to that. But when Eleanor gets to school and she meets Max's sister.
Her name started with M too.
Maybe. Ooh.
Her name was...
No, it's Carissa, isn't it? Isn't Carissa?
No, Carissa is the one that was with the drugs. That's the one Eleanor was trying to get revenge on.
Gabby. Gabby is her name.
Her name was Maddie.
No, her name's Gabby. So when she meets Gabby, which is Max's sister... the first time I saw the movie, I forgot that Gabby was Max's sister because they hardly share scenes together.
Yeah, they did not.
They hardly share scenes. And I'm like, wait, how do they know each other? At one point when I was watching the movie, because I forgot all about it. But then they mentioned their siblings halfway through the movie or whatever.
Yeah, because then they have that scene when they had invited Eleanor to the party and she had drifted away from them and got into the house and there Gabby was. And she was like, hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I forgot they were siblings.
Yeah. The reason I remember they were siblings is the other party where they threw the surprise party for her.
Oh, yeah, the birthday party?
And then she was like, I love my brother. But I was like, oh, wait, what brother? I was like, oh, Max is your brother. But we'll get to that. All I'm saying is Gabby, what were we talking about? But anyways.
Gabby was Eleanor's love interest.
Yeah, we'll get to her. But we were talking about something else leading to that. So she does the toast for Allegra. Allegra has to get on her clothes for less fortunate.
Lord, Jesus.
And then Drea's boyfriend, Max, comes in and makes a grand entrance.
He made the grandest entrance. Like, the party was for him. I knew something was up there. I knew something was up. Like, oh, he one of them.
So he does a toast for her, and then all of a sudden there are fireworks, and everyone's cheering. And later at night, after party, she and Max are talking in the car. He's talking with his lips, but on a surface. And she...
He was not...
He was kissing all up on her, is basically.
He was.
And she was trying to talk about... Because she's worried about getting into Yale.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, she thinks the Teen Vogue thing in a party is actually kind of pretty stupid. But she's trying to get into Yale. And so in order to do that, she's doing this Teen Vogue thing. I don't know how that works. So maybe there are teens that do that and get into Yale. Does Teen Vogue exist? How does she get into Teen Vogue? It must be because she has the connections to
she must
rich
have
friends.
Connections, yeah.
To her rich
must
friends.
Be what it is. Makes sense.
And so basically they're like, oh, I'm so sad. We're going to spend the summer apart. And he says, you know what? Maybe you can send me a little something so during over the summer so I can remember you. I'm like, sis.
How you forget somebody in 2 months?
I was like, sis, this is a teenage boy. He's white. Don't do that.
He trifling.
Don't send any pics
nothing
to him.
Because if a man
or
videos something like that, that's a red flag. I'm not sending you nothing.
Especially if they're a teenager, I feel.
Yes. Like, sir, the summer about to come. Ain't no telling who you about to meet in the summer. On top of that, y'all are about to be seniors, which means that y'all may not even know each other anymore after high school. And you just gonna sit there and put yourself out there like that with this guy. And
but
then
you going on a rant.
Why because it irked me. The reason why he sit there and try to get her to send like some pictures or whatever. Don't
reveal it too fast because we got to get to that.
Oh, we got to get to that.
Don't reveal it.
He made me mad, y'all.
I'm just
telling y'all, he made me mad. I was ready to slap him through the screen. He didn't deserve her love.
Anyways, so she decides she has a lapse of judgment. I'm gonna say, looking at the overall picture, she has a lapse of judgment because she sends it to him. And the next day, as she and Tara are walking and talking about things, everybody's looking at them. And she's like, I feel like everybody's looking at me. Why is everybody doing that?
They call it bombastic side eye. You ever heard of that?
No.
When they be like, side eye. It's on TikTok all the time.
Bombastic?
I don't know. I don't know if it's bombastic or something.
Do you mean bombastic?
I don't know. But they just say...
I've never heard of a bombard
They
stick.
say it's a side eye. I don't know, but it's funny. But
They weren't side-eyeing her. They were looking directly in her
I'm just
face.
saying, like, that's what I thought of, you know?
They're looking directly in her face. And so she was like, Drea, and they realized what happened. And so this is where the twist comes in a little bit because she goes and talks to him, and he tells her that he's been hacked and that he loves her. I'm on the phone with my people now. First of all, don't ever believe a teenage boy. I'm glad she was smart enough to realize that he was lying, and like she punched him in the face.
Oh, baby, did she punch him?
She punched him in the face.
And like, it was no hesitancy. Like, I'm just glad, like you said, that she didn't believe him because, first of all, how did you get hacked, sir? If you got hacked, how? And
how did your phone get hacked in that exact situation? And how is that the only thing that got out?
Yes, exactly. If somebody hacked you, like, I would have been looking at your bank statement.
Yeah.
Like, what are you spending your money on? Not your little girlfriend you claim that you have. And that's what I knew then. I'm like...
Whatever she was doing. Oh, Max, baby. Oh, Max. We're not getting into that. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, it was funny.
I was like, him? Are you sure? Do you mean Elliot? Do you mean Russ? Do you mean somebody else? Max? I was watching the movie and I was like, because there's one point where Elliot stands up to Max at the end of the movie.
Yeah, he did.
I said, why are they not fighting over him? Why are they fighting over him?
What was crazy is I had thought that Elliot, I didn't think he was going to stand up to Max. I thought he was going to side with Max. Because
I didn't think so.
You know how you'll be in a friend group. It happens on other movies. And it's like that friend is like the big rich friend or the really popular friend. And you somehow think that they could destroy your reputation for whatever reason. I'm like, is he going to be that type of friend? Because at first, I couldn't really feel him out.
But I feel like those are more generic Disney Channel TV type of movies. Not like Do Revenge, which has a little bit of more meat to it. You know what I mean?
It did. I like that too, though. It wasn't empty. It was just like, huh? Oh, really? Like that.
I think like once we give Do Revenge more time over the years, like a decade from now, it'll be like one of those classic teen movies, really such as Mean Girls. Mean Girls is so funny.
That movie will always be funny, no matter when you watch it.
Or Heathers too. You never seen Heathers,
no,
but Heathers is a black comedy. It's a teen movie. Shannon Dorothy plays in there.
Really?
Speaking of, because you know Shannon Dorothy and Sarah Michelle Gellar are like best friends. Speaking of Sarah Michelle Gellar, in real life.
Oh,
so Shannon Dorothy is in there. And if you don't know who Shannon Dorothy is, I don't know what's the matter with you. Nothing's the matter with you. Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, some people probably never heard of it, Kaiser.
Yeah, there's nothing the matter with you. Beverly Hills 90210 and Charmed. I love Shannon Dorothy so much. She's
a great actress.
Oh my gosh. She was my favorite character on 90210. I was like, why are you sitting here being stuck?
And his least favorite character was the man.
Was Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan.
The problem is, my least favorite character, Dylan, I still liked him. It's not like a Ross thing where I just didn't like Ross. I liked Dylan a lot.
Ross.
Yes, I liked Dylan a lot, but he was really whiny and he would really just irk my nerves. When things didn't go his way, he would really just... He was a bad communicator.
Oh, what?
Teenage boys, honestly. I feel like I was talking to my therapist the other day about this because my therapist is like, you should be a therapist. I'm like, he's like, most guys your age at 24 years old do not know how to communicate, do not know how to express their feelings. I'm like, I know, and that makes me so sad.
Because y'all know how it is when you're
a
guy, a male, a man, boy, whatever. I don't know how it is.
It irks my heart. It really
does.
Cultures. Yeah.
But over here in this culture that we like to call black.
In the black culture?
Black community. Little boys are taught basically to not communicate well. Almost like you tell them, hold your emotions in, bottle them up. Don't ever say nothing. Don't ever release nothing. Don't cry. Don't show any sign of quote unquote weakness. And when they grow up and be all hardcore, don't know how to communicate, don't know how to express themselves.
They'll shut you out.
Yeah, then you have a problem.
Yeah, you have a problem. And the thing is, it's not just men teaching them that; it's women teaching them that too. Which I'm quite the opposite because I will cry, I will tell you my feelings. I used to shut people out, but not. I got out of that, I should say.
It wasn't
And
in a rude way.
It's never really. See, the thing is, when we're going into this, we're supposed to be talking about
The
revenge. But
But
thing
we
is,
gotta tell y'all.
the thing is about that, a lot of guys really are taught that way, and they aren't taught. Most people, I'm just gonna be honest, most people are not taught how to communicate. I think people confuse communication with being able to talk.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not the same thing.
I'm just learning how to communicate.
Mhm.
Okay, I personally had to get into a relationship to learn how to properly communicate. Cause see me, one thing,
And you still don't.
I still don't know how to communicate that way.
And we're learning, so that's
learning.
okay.
I don't know how
Forgive
to explain
yourself.
myself well because if I'm explaining myself and it's not reciprocated the way that I thought it was gonna come across, I would just shut down and just be like, you know what, forget it. I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna worry about it.
You realize you have to realize that people are not you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
people
you
aren't
know
you.
what's annoying sometimes?
Yeah,
When you realize that people are not you. Can
yeah.
we get into that? When people are not you, you get annoyed.
You get annoyed.
You be like, you know what I'm saying.
And it's like, no,
they
I don't know what you're saying. And
Because they not in your head.
that in your head. That's the point. That's the point that I think people really have to realize about communication. Is
funny.
these people are not in your
They're
head.
not.
Everybody is in their own little separate universe. What
Yes.
you're thinking in your head is not what I'm thinking in my head. We can have similar thoughts. We can have similar feelings, but how we express
not
them are
the same.
differently.
Yeah.
How we talk to ourselves is different. How we talk to other people is different. You being able to say hello to somebody and have a long conversation is not the same as being able to communicate with somebody.
Yes.
Because in order to communicate with people, you actually have to be direct with your feelings, which is really hard for people to do. That's where a lot of people shut down.
Some people like to address their feelings.
Some people don't like to address their feelings. You have to really be direct with your feelings. You have to be honest with yourself. And when you go to talk to somebody, in order to properly communicate, you have to have a goal within your communication. You have to have something that you want to accomplish, something that you might have to fix. You know what I mean? If me and my sister are arguing,
Crazy.
huh?
People also like to fix themselves.
Huh?
They don't like to fix.
They don't like to fix themselves, right?
Mhm.
Because I feel like I don't want to say fix, but in order to become a healthier person, you have to look at the things about yourself that you do not like. You have to really look at yourself, because what people don't realize, we have over 6,000 thoughts a day, right?
Baby, I didn't know it was that many.
You have that many thoughts a day.
Child,
and
what am I thinking about now?
And so how your brain processes it, a lot of people aren't taught to properly communicate. And so what happens is we're used to thinking such negative thoughts about ourselves that we just let the thoughts go. We just let them go. I'm not good enough. People don't like me. I'm not worth it. And the thing is, the thoughts that you have in your head become your reality.
Oh, yeah.
What you believe in your head is your reality. And I feel like a lot of people believe, like, in communication things, like when somebody's talking to them or trying to say something to them, the reason they don't like confrontation is because they might take it personally, because they might feel like what you say is a personal attack. But what I realize, yes, we're working. We all do it. We all do it. But what I realize is that you have to realize that people are different from you. And since they aren't the same as you, you have to realize that how they do things is different from you as well. If I'm your friend and I'm telling you the truth, before you come back at me and clash with me, and I'll tell you about yourself.
Oh, Jesus.
Take a second and pause, really think about and process what I said first. And then don't be like, you do this and you do that and you are this and you are that. Stop before you start all the you statements.
And then they say y'all arguing.
You're arguing when you could have taken a second and realized that what they're saying, a lot of people don't realize, but when other people say things to you, I had to realize this too. When people say things to you, they aren't saying it from a place to hurt you.
Yeah, it's not coming from a bad place.
They're not coming from a place to hurt you.
You should want people like that around, though.
You should want people that tell you the
truth.
truth.
Yeah.
Now, there are ways that you can tell the truth in some ways.
Because I can't sit here and tell my brother, Kaiser,
You know what?
I'm trying to think of something.
Oh, okay.
Kaiser, your fingernails are just ugly.
You're my sister, so I won't like take it anyway. I'll just be like, I'll laugh at you and be like, no.
Instead, you should.
That's
Hey, I'm going to the nail shop. Have you ever got a manicure before? You should try it.
That sounds kind of. You can
You
tell the
should
truth
try
about
it
my
with me.
fingernails.
You should try it with me. And you're going to ask why.
Why?
Why? I'm like, I noticed your fingernails. They look a little rough.
Yeah,
And
okay.
maybe a manicure would help kind of make them look a little more healthy.
Okay, I
a little
see you.
more manageable. And you won't be walking around here shaking people's hands. And they looking at your fingernails like, oh, must dig in dirt for a living.
What?
Yes.
Do people think that? Do you think that about people? Just be honest.
No, I don't think about it. I think that I don't look
Okay.
at people's fingernails like that.
Yeah,
The
but
only time nails catch my eye are if they are really cute when they're done.
but in order to successfully communicate, you really just have to be direct. You have to be true to your
Mm-hmm.
feelings. And what I also learned is don't use you statements. I'm touching your lap, but this is what I'm saying. Do not use you statements. This is what people do. You never wash the dishes. You need to pick up after yourself. Every time I say something, you do this. Every time I do something, you do that. Instead, this is a little helpful tip. We're gonna get to this on another episode, but
Yes.
use I statements. Feel as if sometimes
The
I'm
dishes
doing-
aren't done unless I do them.
yes, I feel as if sometimes I'm the one cleaning the dishes all the time, and that hurts me because I want the dishes to be clean, but I'm also doing all these other things.
What if
as well.
somebody come at you like this?
Go ahead. 'Cause I'm
I
doing
thought
them.
you like doing the dishes. I thought you like doing
I like-
the dishes. I
D-
sit
well-
here and I cook the
Yeah.
food and I wash the clothes and all you talking about is doing dishes? How would you respond?
I understand. I do like doing the dishes, but sometimes I'm coming from a long day of work, and I understand you're coming from a long day of work too. Maybe we could come up with a schedule as to how we can do the dishes and cook dinner. Maybe every other day I can do the dishes and you can do the dishes,
Yes.
and I can cook dinner and you can cook dinner. So we both can have not only
balance.
have a balance. And when somebody is unable to do something like that because because we're busy with something else,
Busy. Life happens.
we can just communicate that I'm going to be staying at work late. I'm sorry, I'm going to be staying at work late and I won't be able to cook dinner. That's okay. Maybe we can order a pizza. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe if I have enough time, I can go and cook the dinner, and maybe you can wash the dishes later on if you're not too tired, or I can do it. I don't mind. Just be direct and communicate.
Be
I think a
direct.
lot of people, what they do is they do the silent treatment.
Like this. Why you mad? It's something. No, not why you mad. Is something bothering you? What's wrong with you?
And they
And
don't
you sit
answer.
there and they be silent, and so you start wrecking your brain trying to figure out what's wrong.
Yes, it messes
and
with people.
sometimes that is annoying because I can't read your thoughts. I can't read your
Mhm.
mind. I know what you're saying or
can't-
what's bothering you. So if you don't tell me, and I keep doing it, like it's
Yeah.
just gonna become more bothersome.
And so what is the silent treatment? I will tell you. The silent treatment, let me give some examples. It's like walking by somebody on a daily basis, like you walking by them on a daily basis, and you're ignoring their existence. The silent treatment is using silence to get someone to do something or to change their behavior. That's the silent treatment. That's a form of emotional abuse. I'm just telling you now. It's using silence to avoid conflict.
yes.
When you use silence to avoid conflict and refusing to talk things out, there's an unhealthy and abusive tactic that's using people. I mean, that's really hurting people.
It's not funny, but it is at the same time.
It's not speaking, because I save bookmarks about all this therapy stuff. It's not speaking to somebody for extended periods of time, then speaking to them as if nothing happened.
Oh, that's it. That'd be the one. You just come back to them and be like, oh, like you went a whole 3 days without talking to someone. And then you'll be like, so how's your day going? I would be like,
Using silence to
Okay.
make someone beg to be spoken to, looking through someone at dinner, at events, etc., to demonstrate disapproval. As in, my sister's right across from me. She's in the dinner.
eat your dinner, acting like they just,
They're not there. You're
They're
just
not
looking
there.
through them. You're literally looking at them, but as if you're looking past
True.
them. So let's give an example. Then we're gonna get back to do revenge because
Yes.
this is not This is not a communication episode, and I feel like I need to take notes on how to properly communicate in order to give this to our viewers. But let's give an example because Dr. Nicole LaPera, I love her. She is on
Never
Twitter.
heard of her.
Yeah, she's on
Hello,
Twitter.
Dr. Nicole. Nice to meet you.
And she really gives like a lot of tips on healthily communicating, building better relationships with your friendships, your romantic partners, your people in your life in general. So she gives an example. Mark is upset with a purchase his wife made. For 2 weeks in front of their children, he ignores her presence. She's on the edge every day. He comes home from work wondering if she'll be spoken to. She comes home from work wondering if she'll be spoken to.
Yeah.
She pleads for him to talk to her. He ignores her. The silence treatment is not setting a clear boundary with someone. If you're being silent with someone, not talking to them, that is not setting a boundary.
Not at all.
That is not setting a boundary. It's not removing yourself from a toxic or abusive relationship. It's actually creating more of a form of toxicity and abuse. That is an abusive behavior, okay? It's not taking space when needed. When you need space, communicate that you need space.
Please.
Do not ignore somebody for weeks and then they're wondering what happened and they're all afraid and feeling worried and stuff. And
driving themselves crazy.
And the silent treatment is also not engaging in a conflict that you feel is unhealthy. The silent treatment is used by people who are conflict avoidant. People who use the silent treatment struggle to cope with their own emotions. They lack the skills to openly communicate and find healthy ways to resolve conflict. That is okay if you lack the skills. But the thing about skills is that you can build them up, right?
Yes, it's all about
that's part of being a healthier person, learning how to build up skills. It's okay.
Because I used to give the silent treatment, honey. You gonna get this ignorance.
Somebody gave me the silent treatment once, and that messed me up.
Did it?
It messed me up. But
When
I get into that, it messes you up. Like I was really like.
I've gave it before. Just sitting there like.
When done on a regular basis, it's an abusive pattern. It creates hypervigilance, which it does, or walking on eggshells, which it does.
Because they didn't know what they did wrong.
It creates high anxiety about upsetting someone or saying or doing the wrong thing, which it does.
There's so much wrong with this.
Self-worth becomes damaged. The person feels shameful, humiliated, and insecure because the person who loves us denies their very existence. The person given the silent treatment gets a false sense of control over the situation by not speaking to someone and deciding when they'll speak to the person again. They don't have to self-reflect, talk openly, or allow another person's emotion in. The person given the silent treatment will one day speak again. They usually won't acknowledge their behavior and act as if everything is fine. Their expectation is to go on as if everything is normal.
Because it's terrible. And the fact that you did it.
If you're
in front of the kids. I'm sorry.
You talking about Mark? I'm like, who?
Yeah. I feel like on Mark.
If you're experiencing the silent treatment, it's important to set clear boundaries, not enable it by begging for someone to speak to you, and to focus on relationships with mature people who are able to disagree in safe ways. So if you do the silent treatment as a coping mechanism, I'm not calling you out. If you feel called out, that's kind of a you problem.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to handle. How do we get on the silent treatment and unhealthy people?
I don't know.
But I'm actually doing an episode on self-love with people, so with somebody in the future. So I'm going to get back to that on that episode.
This is the intro to that episode, everybody.
Yes. Because this episode about do revenge is about revenge.
And listen.
It's funnily enough, this movie is actually talking about healthy communications.
That's what I'm saying, because you ain't got to do revenge. You don't have to do that. Okay? You don't have to go around giving people the silent treatment. You don't have to go around living your life planning attacks on other individuals because you were hurt.
A lot of people, some people know that they're doing wrong, but a lot of people do the silent treatment because they don't know how to effectively communicate and they don't know how to recognize the emotions that they're feeling.
Yeah.
And so instead of recognizing their emotions, instead of recognizing that something might just be more than what it seems, they shut down.
All the way down.
Because they don't know how to handle it.
And literally get silent.
And they get silent. And they look at you. And that's how I see, the term, saying, instead of saying something, don't say anything at all. How's it?
Oh, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Yeah.
They take that term a bit, they take it the wrong way.
Because guess what?
if you're mad at somebody and you're mad at them, I feel it's better for you to communicate that anger instead of holding it back.
Yeah. Now, don't do too much with it, because it's easy to get angry at someone, or it's easy to be upset with someone and then just explode and just throw it all at them, like when they least expect it. And then another tip: if something is bothering you,
We've all done that. The first thing, like basically flashing out on somebody,
yeah,
because
like
you're holding it in.
You're holding it so much in. It just come out. It just keep flowing out like a river. So
Yeah,
if
I've done
something
that.
bothers you,
Man.
right then and there, just address it.
Address it.
Because it'll be 3 weeks down the line, and someone does something to you, whether you're in a relationship or a friendship. It could even be while you're at work, and that same person does something again that irks your nerves, and then start bringing up stuff that happened.
I've done that
a month, 2 months ago, and it's like, hey, where is this coming from? That's not healthy. You don't want to do that, because now it's going to make it seem like, oh, you hold on to so much in the past, or you hold on to so much from the past that when a conversation or a disagreement does come along, all you're going to do is just throw up past instances or past feelings that they
it's like defensiveness. You're feeling. When you're defensive,
you always feel like to be attacked.
You always feel like you're about to be attacked. Mm-hmm. You feel like stuck. You feel like no one's listening. You feel like nobody understands you.
Yes. Oh, that's so true.
When you're defensive. And defensiveness sounds like you're just taking this the wrong way, right? Yes. Or you're so dramatic.
Ooh, yes. That's the one.
You're so dramatic. Stop being so dramatic. Stop picking a fight.
Stop nitpicking with me.
Or, as usual, you always got to be right. You used to say that to me all the time.
You always gotta be right all the time.
And I used to be like, what?
I used to say that. I still do it sometimes. Yeah. Like, you're not right all the time.
Yeah.
But in reality, they be right.
And it's not always that the person, in my perspective, like, it's not always that I'm trying to be right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a point.
It's just you feel attacked.
The other person feels attacked. And then they're like, wow. I'm at the point now where I realize that other people are other people, and not everyone knows how to properly communicate in certain areas. We all are always working on communication. So when you get better at something in one area, you always have to get better at something in the other area, right?
Yeah.
And I'm at the point to where if somebody like flashes out on me, I don't take that personally at all. I don't take it personally. I say
sometimes I do still.
I say that, but that's something I've always been able to really do, is not take that personally, because I knew that, because I flashed out on somebody before, and I flashed on y'all before.
Yeah,
that was the first time I flashed out.
It's not that I didn't care.
Somebody was upset. That's all I'll say.
I just was like, oh, he must be fed up.
I was fed up at that moment because I was holding a whole bunch of stuff in, and so it all just came out
like a flowing river.
And I went in my room, I felt so guilty, and I cried after that. That was years ago. I did.
I did. You guys.
And
I don't remember. Why are you laughing?
But anyways, what I came to realize is that if I can do that, then I can understand that anybody can do that. And when you understand that it's not a you problem, because I think sometimes people take it as a you problem, as if flashing out on you it's a them problem. Yeah. If you flash out at me, there's something that you're going through. And instead of me being defensive, being upset, and being angry, what I can say is, are you okay?
But people take offense to that.
Are you okay?
You gotta,
say it in a way. Are you okay?
Yeah, because
how are you feeling right now?
What you mean? Am I okay? I'm okay. And they just keep going. What? You just like,
how I do it? Flash out on me. Just flash out.
Okay. I'm so fed up. You're always doing this, and you always talking, and you just get on my nerves every day. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of looking at your face.
Are you okay? Is there something that you need to get off your chest?
I already did. When I listen to me. You got work.
Yeah.
You just see how you was looking at me. You looking like I was crazy. You gotta go. Like,
okay, I'll do it again. Oh, okay.
And obviously,
you get on my freaking nerves. I can't stand you. You never clean up after yourself. I'm always picking up the dishes. I'm always doing this and I'm always doing that. I don't understand why you do this. I come home from work every day too. Why are you doing this to me, Brian? I don't understand. Clean up after the kids. Why are you complaining to me? I'm always cleaning up after them. Oh my gosh.
Okay, darling, I understand where you're coming from. And I realize that you have a lot going on and I have a lot going on as well. So maybe we could come to an agreement, a plan, or something that'll help us be more effective together. I'm going to step up to the plate. I'm going to be better. And I'm going to make sure that you don't feel like you're in this all alone. I'm here for you.
All I needed was to be heard, Brian.
I hear you.
All I needed was to be heard.
He's... I hear you, Becky.
I love you.
See, if I was Brian, I've been trying to get away. I've been trying to say anything. And then when she looked at me, I've been packed my bag and told it's like crazy.
See, conflict aborted. You knew I was crazy when you married me. Conflict aborted. You married a crazy person.
Oh, God. I'm telling you, see how I did that? You see how I do that?
Don't run away.
I didn't make her feel crazy until after.
Don't do that. See, that's what
I was getting up to go to the bathroom. I had my clothes packed in my bag and I was leaving. I'm taking my kids with me.
No. See, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that, people.
Don't do
what
that.
I did before I said that part. You just gotta let them know that you hear them. And you understand. Don't sneak out and leave. Oh, but see me, if somebody ever flash out on me, what makes them more upset is that I start laughing. Okay? Which
That's
is
a
not
defense
a good
mechanism.
thing, but listen, if someone flashes out on me, right? It's not so much what they're saying is funny.
You gotta
it's
work
just
on
their
that.
actions.
You gotta work on that because I feel like I'll be like, why are you laughing at me?
I try to hold it because it be serious moments and I just be like, this is not funny. I'm sorry. And it just come out. I do need to work on it because when I tell you I am a person, like people say they laugh at anything. I laugh at anything. It does not matter. It could be bad news. But out of some way, I'm going to find something funny out of it.
And I think a good way, we're gonna end this because we gotta get back to the movie. But I think a good way of communicating to people really is sharing different ways around communicating. Right? If I see a thread on Twitter and I'm like, my sister and I have difficulties communicating this way, why don't I share it with her?
Yeah.
Why don't we learn new ways to communicate and try it out?
And it won't feel like an attack.
It won't feel like an attack.
Because it's like, someone's sharing this. This could be good advice. It's not going to be like
when you're really somebody that's really trying to become a better person and trying to do better things like that, really, they don't, you learn to not take them as an attack.
Yes, that's true.
Because you learn that people have different perspectives. Because you not communicating with people, you being silent, is not a form of communication. It's not a social skill at all whatsoever. It really is a way for you to not be able to look in yourself.
And face
because
the problem.
People are mirrors of us. You're a mirror of me. And usually if there's something about you that I don't like, it's something about myself that I don't like.
What you don't like about me, Kaiser?
Well,
what you like about me? I'm amazing.
You are amazing. I like you. I don't know. What do you want me to say? What did you do that annoys me sometimes?
Yeah.
You laugh a lot. From my perspective, it seems like sometimes you laugh in the wrong situations.
I told you. I'm trying to control it, but something funny. Oh, what annoys me about my brother?
Yeah.
He makes a lot of noise.
I make a lot of noise? How?
Yeah, singing.
Oh.
If he's in the kitchen cooking, you're going to know. If he goes to go to the bathroom, you're going to know because he's just loud for no reason. Don't
say I'm loud for no reason, but I get what you mean.
He makes noise that is unnecessary.
Well,
unnecessary.
I get it from somebody. I get it from somebody.
He don't try to do that. Sometimes people just natural.
You know who I get it from?
Daddy.
No, I get it from Mama.
Mama
will be clothes and stuff, and I'll be like, "Why is this going on?" I'll be like,
get up in the morning and cook breakfast for us sometimes, like on the weekend. It's you would know. It's not because you smell the food. It's because you hear pots going.
I'm like, wait.
Bitch, just having a good sleep on the weekend. Because you woke up early every other day, Monday through Friday. So you on the weekend, naturally, you thinking to yourself, hey, I'm going to lay down a little longer. No, and your mom, who's coming from a nice place, just trying to make sure her family is well fed, it's just making lots of noise. And then when our mom gets up, our dad gets up, and they start talking really loud.
Dad he talks
very
loud,
loud. He
especially
laughs
in the
loud,
morning.
He talk loud.
And it's just so annoying in the morning.
I'm like, with your ears. I know I laugh loud, I talk loud, because they tell me all the time. Yeah. I'm like,
the thing about
where I
black
think I
parents
get it
is
from?
the thing about black parents, they don't really realize that the things that you be doing, these annoying things traits you pick up, we picking them up from you.
I'm
like I said, people are mirrors of I'm sorry, I just tapped her. People are mirrors of each other. So if there's something that my parents don't like about me,
guess what?
There's probably something I got from you.
Guess who I get it from? You don't like that I laugh loud?
I got it.
Look at my dad. You don't like that I talk loud? Look at my dad. You don't like that I'm petty? Look at my mama.
Oh my gosh.
Mama knows she petty. Ask her. I'm just saying.
Sometimes y'all be talking about people on social media or whatever. I'm like, can y'all hold back?
No, you gotta let it out.
And what I mean is like y'all be saying stuff and I be having like, that's not an okay thing to say. And y'all be looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, that's not okay.
Here. You be talking.
Because I just love people to feel good about themselves.
And it ain't like the people hear us, y'all. These people don't
it's
know
not okay. I don't like to think about people
them.
that way. That's just my problem.
Kaiser will come in the middle of your conversation and interrupt your tea time with some, oh, baby, you shouldn't talk about them that way. You don't know what they've been through. You want to be the inspirer of the family.
I don't want to be. I just
you let me say what I have to say about Billy Bob Bo because I was annoyed when I saw this. And this is him.
But then it's not about you is what I'm really trying to tell you. It's just not about you. And you just talk about these people as if it's a personal attack.
I made it about
And I'm just like, it's not about you. And my mama said that a few weeks ago. It's because you always just see the good in everybody. I'm just like, yes. I can't help it. But I call people out too. But I just always see the good in people. Like whenever somebody you can be my worst enemy and I'll just still see the good in you because I still see just like a wonderful person inside of you, even if you're just a narcissist. I see that there's something in you.
Yes.
There's something good in you. It could be evil. But the thing is I've learned
I'm drawn to.
See, no, I'm not drawn to it. See, that's the thing. There's something about you that I see good in you. But if you cut the wrong ways, I know to love you from very far away.
We do not have to talk.
Because I'm the type of person who likes to reconcile with people too. But if you're doing the same thing,
not me.
I love to the idea of reconciliation and just doing better. See, but the thing is, you can reconcile with people and still be at a distance. You can forgive people and still be at a distance.
I forgive you. Just don't talk.
Just don't come back into my life. We don't ever have to talk again, and I get that.
We don't talk anymore.
We don't talk anymore. We don't talk anymore like we used to do.
Because I realized you was toxic.
Yes. But see, everybody's toxic. That's another thing.
Everybody have,
what somebody told me. We need to get back to this movie.
I know.
Could be an hour long. But what people need to realize is toxic people are not evil. They just need healing.
They need
toxic
healing.
People are not people that are evil. Toxic people that are people that need healing. And when you realize that you are also toxic, that you also have your toxic traits, you're able to look at people and view them from a different perspective outside of yourself.
Oh, wait a minute.
When you're able to view people from a perspective outside of yourself and as people as they really are, you will be able to realize that they are a human being just like you.
Let me tell y'all about toxicness. The toxicness will take over you and you not even know it. You be out here.
What's your toxic trait? That's what
my toxic trait.
Yeah, something that's toxic about you. That.
Oh Lord, I have so many.
One thing.
Let's see. One thing about it.
Because we're gonna leave from toxicity into do revenge. That's what we're gonna do.
A toxic trait of mine. Stop laughing.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to laughing. You making me laugh. Okay. A toxic trait of mine is if someone comes to me in a certain way, like a certain manner, whether they speaking the truth about me or not, it depends on the way you come. If you're coming like, I feel like you're coming in a caring way, I'm going to say, oh, okay. But if they come at me hard, my toxic trait is, I'm going to come back at you. Harder.
See,
And
no.
if you kick me while I'm down, I'm pulling you down with me.
Yeah.
It sounds bad, but it's the truth. I'm working on it.
My toxic trait used to be, I'm gonna give a toxic trait that took it too far. If you kick me while I'm down, I'm gonna push you up. I'm gonna like pick you up and I'm gonna try to fix everything for you. And I had to realize I can't fix your problem.
Child, you can't fix people.
I cannot fix your problem because somebody tried to push me and I'm like, oh, but I understand where they came from. I can understand where you came from, but I also can understand I also can understand you gotta work on that for yourself.
Yes.
That I can't make you happy.
Let me tell you, I just went through this with Trey. He was telling me some truth about myself. Child, next thing you know, I was like, you act like you don't do this.
Yeah. See,
you act like you
yeah. But that's it. That's when you have to catch yourself.
He was calling me out and he was like, why every time I come to you about, Karington, like, this is something you should fix, something you should look at. Why every time you come to, like, when I come to you like that, you always say I'm talking about something I'm doing it. Like, I'm like, you're like, I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying. Y'all,
he does you or you do you.
No, I do you. And I'm just like,
you know what you should do?
Y'all, Lord help me. That's what I be saying. Lord help me. Because, see, sometimes I get smart at the mouth. And it just comes out. And I just be like, and I be having to go back and apologize. It don't matter who. I've had to do this to friends, family. It don't matter who. Because it's like, my mouth, it's like the thought be in my head, and I'd be so upset because they be telling the truth about me, but I don't want to, like, really address it. Because, like, sometimes there's some truth about you. You got some twisted ways about you, and it's like, you try to live in denial that's not true about you. So you be like, oh, you just saying it because that's what you do. Oh, you just saying it because that's how you are. Blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it's really you.
I'm so opposite in that area because I'll be like, somebody tell me something wrong. I'm like, really? Then I go and I run towards it. I'm like, really? Is that true? And I go and I run towards it because I'm like, I want to fix it. Because I used to lie to myself a lot. Yeah, I did. Because it's the thoughts that you have. A lot of people don't realize that lies can be anything. If you, like, I say things like, when you say you're not good enough, that's a lie.
That is a lie.
When you wonder why, I used to wonder this, why is this person talking to me? Why do they like me so much? That's a lie I'm telling to myself because I'm not
great.
Huh?
I'm great.
Because I'm great. Because I add value wherever I go.
I'm an asset and not
I let people feel listened to, and I come from a place from understanding. That's why people like to talk to me. I used to be like, I don't understand why this person, that was my toxic trait, just talk. That's everybody's toxic trait. Yeah. I don't understand why this person is talking to me. I don't understand why they're texting me. I'm like.
Don't understand why they like try to be in your life.
Why they're trying to be in my life. I'm like, I'm not awesome. I'm boring. I'm a really boring person. This is stuff I was telling myself. I'm a really boring person. I see this person. They have so many friends and they can talk to them easily, but it's hard for me to even get words out of my mouth. Why do they even try to speak to me? You're laughing at the stuff I said.
There's nothing wrong because I'm laughing.
But it's true. It's
true.
true.
I laugh, but it's true. But I'm laughing because
And when you do that stuff long enough, you don't realize you're doing it. And so I had to realize I have to catch that thought.
Believing it so much.
You believe it because it becomes your truth. Lies become truth when you allow them to become the truth. Lies aren't lies anymore when you believe them. So what you do is you have to take that lie that's in your head saying, I'm not a good enough mother. Take that lie and say, I'm doing the best that I can. My children, let's see, I just went to the mother. Let me do another one.
What about a friend? Do like
a friend one?
I am like, you know how you'll be like, you'll have a friend, then your friend has another set group of friends, and they like maybe will hang out with that.
Oh yeah, this is a thought I had. They're happier when they're around that group of friends, but then when they're with me, I just can't bring that form of happiness to them. And it's like, wait, but catch that thought. But
cast it down.
Don't just cast it down because you have to give that thought. What I learned is you have to give that thought a voice. Because you can cast a thought. You can be like this. that's not true. But then you don't say anything to replace the thought. You have to replace the thought,
Yes,
because
you
if
have
you
to
don't
replace it.
if you don't replace the thought, you're just gonna think about it again
All the
anyway.
time, yeah. You're going to
So,
keep telling yourself.
because these thoughts keep happening, and they always come back every now and then. But when you learn how to take the thought, take it captive, turn around instead of saying that, and being like, instead of saying they're happier when they're around those friends, no, I just bring a different sort of perspective and friendship to them. And it's not that they're less happy when they're around me. They just express their happiness in a different way.
Yes, that's true.
Ooh, wait,
That was deep.
That was deep.
Somebody needs to hear
Oh
that.
my gosh, but it's true.
Friends,
Yeah, and
family.
we're gonna get to that because I think Drea and Eleanor really go through that.
They do.
They
Because
really go
think
through that.
about it. When I'm gonna tell y'all about a scene in the movie when Eleanor had her surprise birthday party, she was hanging out with the popular group of people that Drea was, because that was the plot of them doing revenge. And so the popular people threw Eleanor a birthday party, a surprise birthday party. Eleanor at that moment didn't feel like these were mean people. These were the mean, popular people who think they're better than everybody. She just felt that she was surrounded by friends. And at the time, Drea, they were supposed to be like, Eleanor was supposed to be like giving Drea information, dishing her information. But Eleanor wasn't responding to any of Drea's texts. So Drea goes on Instagram and she sees that one of the popular girls, like she was still in one of her close friends or whatever, story or whatever. And so she saw that. So she felt some type of way and that's how their whole argument came, like, too, because it was like she felt some type of way, like, oh, we're supposed to be getting revenge, whereas Eleanor felt like, oh, this feels like real friendship. So it was like, I guess Drea felt like an outcast or felt like that her friendship or whatever wasn't good enough because Eleanor started to develop a friendship with
it's the scene that I think, because what we forget is that Eleanor was trying to get revenge on Drea. It's a twist. That's a twist in the plot. Yeah. This is a spoiler.
This is the episode, y'all. You have to watch it.
Yeah. So Eleanor, but at one point, Eleanor thought that her and Drea were becoming friends.
Yes.
And I feel like they were becoming friends. But it got to the point where Drea was feeling so hurt.
Oh yes.
She was hurting so much inside that the only thing that she could think about in her head was revenge. Eleanor at one point told her, hey, my birthday's coming up. Do you want to do something? And Drea was like, oh, yeah, sure. And then went back to the whole thing. Got all about her birthday. And at that point, Eleanor felt as if she wasn't being, to me.
She felt like she was being a pawn.
She was a pawn, that she wasn't being noticed, that Drea was only friends with her in order to get something from her. Yeah. She felt that way. And how they communicated that, because they didn't communicate it because they just got revenge. How they went about that, I look at it as if she probably would have confronted Drea on that, Drea probably would not have liked it at first.
True.
But if she would have confronted her on that and say, for instance, let me think, I'm hurt because I thought that we had more of a connection than just getting revenge on others. Yeah. I'm hurt because I feel as if, from my perspective, you only want to talk to me or only want to hang out with me when it comes to hurting other people.
Yeah.
I feel when I mentioned my birthday to you, I felt as if you didn't really care. You only wanted to
continue.
You only wanted to talk about revenge. You only wanted to you only wanted to do that.
You wanted to plan the next attack.
Yes, I felt like you were being, what's the opposite of open-minded? Narrow-minded.
Narrow-minded.
I felt like you were being narrow-minded in that moment. Close-minded. I felt like you weren't really paying attention to me or putting enough effort into our friendship in that way.
Because they really did start building a connection. And that's why I didn't expect the plot. Whoever did the plot twist, they did really good, because it was like, I was not expecting that. I thought that they were like gonna come to their senses that, hey, maybe we shouldn't do all of this like revengeful stuff, and they just would continue being friends. Like they got closer because of it, but they never went through with all the big stuff they had planned.
Yeah, because we have to remember when they met.
I got something.
What is it?
It was like this. The thought that I want to tell you, it was like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. That's what I thought.
That's what
when I saw the plot twist, I'm like, oh, that's why
what she was doing.
Yeah. Ooh, child. The ghetto.
But it evolved because Max ended up putting on her photos. It was the summertime. People were taking up for Max. I remember when Tara called Drea, and she was like, I'm so sorry this happened to you, Drea, but Max wouldn't do something like that on purpose.
Yes, he would.
I'm like, what are you trying to gaslight me?
My side,
yeah, because I would have been, if she told him, I would be like, he literally posted my nudes, or whatever I was doing there.
On the
you
internet.
can insinuate what I was doing.
Yeah, something naughty.
The viewers can insinuate, but he posted that on the internet, and I felt hurt. And instead of you as my friend coming to talk to me and making sure I'm okay, I felt as if you were too busy trying to take up for him, trying to uphold a status.
That hurts worse than the actual action that he did.
That hurts worse than what he did.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be my friend. Like,
they should have delved more into that in the movie. I feel like the friendship between Drea and Tara.
Yeah.
Like how that hurt. Because you could tell Tara was feeling guilty.
She was. But then when she came back, like after they came back from summer break, all of a sudden Tara and Max were together. Something they could have dug a little deeper into that. Like, how in the world that happened?
Because there was a scene where she was trying to talk to Max about it, and Max was like, "I just want to think sex."
Oh yeah,
I said it too many times.
When
and
like,
she got upset and she left.
Party.
She was like, "Have sex with yourself," and she left out the room. Because
little did she know, little Maxie was out here being a thought.
He was being a thought. That's his whole thing, being a narcissistic thought.
We did not like that at all.
And I felt sorry for him, honestly.
Because
I'm like, what got him to that place to where
his life sucks. It sucked because just imagine you being like 17 years old or 18 years old, and you have so much pressure because you're rich. You have lots of friends.
Not many people are gonna understand.
Not many.
You have so much pressure because you're rich.
But if you are a child,
we're not rich. Is what I'm saying. Not people.
Comes from parents with status, whether it's major status or minor status. You feel the pressure from not all the time your parents, but even from like other people, outside people looking in. They expect you to be a certain way, expect you to carry yourself a certain way, to act a certain way. And that's how it was. It was like he had to act like this. He had to be like this. He had to be the it guy. Because that was the life he was given. And then on top of that, like, he still was going through the teenage things that you go through as a teenager. Teenage years are probably some of the hardest years a person is going to go through. And it's like you still have to go through, going to school, getting an education, going to college, kind of stuff. Even though he probably had a lot of stuff handed to him. Because even they had that scene when he was basically saying that he didn't want that to be his life.
Like, money isn't buying him happiness. Money is buying him insecurity.
That's exactly what it's buying. That's why people say money don't buy you happy.
It doesn't.
Because money can buy you things that make you happy for a second. Like, yeah, it's always temporary. But it's like you can have the finest things in the world and still be depressed and still hate yourself. And
because
still unhappy.
If you're not secure within yourself, it doesn't matter how much money you have.
Yes,
if you don't like yourself, then it doesn't matter what you can buy.
Sure don't.
You're just going to be unhappy. And I feel like that really, like, for me, I'm about to get a bit deep, but that for me really has me thinking, like, I didn't want to be, like, at one point I was just like really unhappy and depressed. I didn't want to be that way. I had to make like that decision because a lot of people are depressed and unhappy, and I understand that perspective. But also, I had to also understand the perspective that nobody can pull me out of that but myself. And the thing about unhappiness and the thing about depression is when you experience it long enough, it becomes really comfortable.
True.
It becomes comfortable.
Which makes it hard
and
to be down.
You don't like to be sad. It's hard to be sad. It's hard to be depressed. But you're used to it.
I've never faced depression before, and I hope I never do. But just from hearing other people talk about it, or seeing like the effects that it have on other people, really tell it is hard to be depressed. It's hard to be sad because no one one wants to be sad all the time.
And the worst part,
naturally, you don't.
Yeah, I feel like the worst part of it is you have at the point you actually do have to realize that the only person that can bring you out of that is yourself.
Yes, that's true.
Nobody can save you. Nobody
and that's
can save
the
you.
thing. Sometimes people look to other people to save them, or sometimes people could be depressed or sad or whatever, and something major happens, and other people come and be like, "Oh man, I wish I would have known because I could have saved them," or "Oh, I wish
but
I
you
knew
can't.
because I would have did this and did that." I'm like, no, like you can't.
You could help
You
them,
could
but
help,
you can't
but
save
you can't
them.
save someone.
At the end of the day, that's something they have
If
to do
they
for
don't want to
themselves.
come out of it, or if they feel not even
If
if they don't want to,
they
if
feel like they can't
come out of it.
It's really honestly, I
Not
don't.
much you could do.
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to. But it really is a mindset thing.
It is.
It really is
Takes a toll.
a mindset thing. It comes from your mind. It comes from the negative thoughts and the
It's in your
feelings
head.
and experiences that you have, and how you come out of those things really does form who you are as a person. But I think what a lot of people do is they look at the depression and they look at the depression as if the depression is them, and that is not the state of mind. And there are people that have depression is different for everyone. There are people that have like different states of depression. There are people that have clinical depression and things like that. And you have to, but on all those fields, the one commonality that I realized that people with depression have is that at one point you really do, if you want to be better, you have to like really, and it looks different for everybody, and it's different stages of pushing yourself to be better.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say pushing because it seems like you're forcing yourself to do it. Some areas and aspects
Sometimes
you do have to.
Yeah.
You do have to force yourself. But hey, everybody, this is Editing Kaiser, and I just want to clarify something. When I'm talking about depression in this sense, I'm talking about for some people. I don't want to speak for all people who have depression, because I know that some people are just like, just get better, or just experience your emotions. I feel like that's similar to blaming the victim. I remember I said something similar to someone like that once. I was upset at them and was speaking to them from a place of anger, guilt, and shame. But I don't think it's really ever okay to do that, especially because depression looks different for everybody. Like me, I can speak from my experience in that way. But yeah, it's different for everybody. Don't ever do that. That's not a good thing to do. That's not okay. And if you've ever done that, I would apologize, honestly, truly. And I do think that does, for some people, come from a place of wanting to help others. But I think it's important to note that people with depression are going through an experience that not everybody goes through. And you just have to be more aware of what you say to people in general. And the person that I told that to called me out on it. And I'm very grateful. And I hope that they're doing okay, truly, because that really made me think. And I just want everyone to make sure that when you speak to people, you try to take into consideration what they're going through. You won't always be able to hit the mark on it. And there are times where you feel like you get bothered with your past, but know that you aren't your past, and know that the person that you were back then isn't the same person that you are now. The person you were 5 minutes ago isn't the same person that you are now. So just learn from your mistakes and try to take into consideration how others feel when they're going through situations like that. It's the state of just knowing that at some point only I can do this.
That is, in some way, even on the Do Revenge movie, is like you could find relation to that, because you remember when the plot twist was exposed and Eleanor was in her room. It was a small scene. She was in her room and she found out that Drea was going to be at the whatever, what that was, a tennis. They went, but it was like she
Tennis
was
camp.
almost depressed. She was depressed because of the embarrassment that she experienced as a child or as a young teen. And it was like she faced depression, but her way of coming out of it or coping with it was, I'm going to get back at
It
the
wasn't a
person.
healthy way.
Yeah, it wasn't healthy. Don't do that. But It was her. That was her way of trying to get out of it. Then she thought, I'm just gonna get back
As the person
at
that ruined my
the
life.
person that ruined my life. Yeah.
But I think what happened between Drea and Eleanor or Nora that really changed things is that they had to come to a point. Really, it was at the end of the movie where they said, wait, no, stop. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that this is making me
Feel or even act.
Or act.
Like their actions were just terrible.
Because I remember the scene where Drea was talking about for the longest time, she just felt like this void was in her heart, this anger. And the more she feels it, the more it goes on, the more tight it just gets tighter and tighter. And she just wanted it to stop. And what I think Eleanor was feeling that exact same thing. But what they have to realize, they have to come to the point is that all this false self-confidence, all of this truly like ignoring my feelings and performing for others, it's not doing a service to me in any way.
Yeah.
Only making me feel worse. Eleanor had to realize that Drea didn't ruin her life. What Drea did was not cool. It was a very horrible thing to do. But she had to realize that she can move on from that. And how she moves on from that is by forgiving. And in their case, they forgave each other and they became friends. Yeah. It's not always the case. And you don't have to have somebody in your life. Seasons change.
You and just move on.
In that case, and it takes a second to move on because the hurt. You have to let yourself feel the emotions, and you just can't ignore it. Because I think about like when I was like feeling at my worst, right? I was trying to ignore it, and I didn't want to say it for what it truly was, right? I didn't want to say that I was feeling depressed or whatever. I'm like, I'm not depressed, blah, blah, blah. I'm not depressed. And when somebody told me that they're depressed, I went hyper-focused on making them feel better when I was already feeling down myself. And it wasn't until I actually realized that this is what I'm feeling, but I can change it. I can do better. I can be better. That I really focus on doing that change and become happier. I'm so peaceful in my life. And I came to the point to where I had to take my thoughts that were having the thoughts in my head. Because everybody has these thoughts of not being good enough. But I had to realize that those are lies. These thoughts in my head, anything in your head that's telling you that you're not good enough, that's telling you you're not worth it, in any way that's telling you that, at all, it's always a lie. It's always a lie.
Yes.
And the hard part about that is we're so used to thinking those thoughts that when we take them captive and we turn them around, it feels weird. But the more you do it, because it's a daily battle. It's a daily battle. It happens every day to everybody. It happens every day. These thoughts. But the more you do it, the more you take those thoughts captive, the more and you say your affirmations. I be saying I have this app to say affirmations.
What app is called? The I Am Affirmations app?
Yes, the I Am Affirmations app.
Yeah,
Do you
they
have
charge you?
It's $10.99
a month?
It's $10 a year.
Oh, that was $1.99 a month.
It could be if you're paying monthly, but it's like $10 per year.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
I used
just
to
get this for a
have it,
year.
and I deleted it.
You're paying it monthly?
No.
Oh.
I think I paid for it for a year. And then, but the thing was, I wasn't getting my affirmations every day because I was getting them, but I wasn't reading. I'm the type of person.
That's why I have the widget on my thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, you can put widgets on your phone. And then,
that's what it was. That's before I knew that. You'll only get a little notification, and they'll let you like set the notification for a specific time. But I'm the type of person, I like to get my affirmations. Like I would have a jar or something, and then take one out, read it, realize it, believe it, then put it in another jar. Like that type of stuff I do. Like on your phone, it works good too, because when you're on the go. But you wake up in the morning, you'll be like, I am gorgeous, I'm beautiful, and I'm worth every thing that I have. Yeah. Boom. Whatever the affirmation is.
Yeah, with mine's, they send me the notifications. I'm really just good because I'm just really good at just setting the goal and doing it.
You do.
But I also have the widget that I put on my phone, and every time I log into my phone, it's right there in front of my face. Right now it says everyone has leftover. This is one I made because I heard it from Sarah Jakes Roberts. Everyone has leftovers.
So you make it.
I made the affirmation on the app.
Oh, okay.
Everyone has leftovers. The leftovers are where the glory is.
Oh, I heard her say that. No wonder
That's
I
one of
looked
my
at it. It
favorite
sounded
things.
familiar.
It's one of my favorite things to say because it's like the things of my past do not define me. The things of my past are the leftovers. So what I can do is take the leftovers to make a new meal.
That's right.
Your scars
Make that new meal.
are not. Let me put it this way. Dang, it's hard to say it. But your scars are not things that damage you.
Yeah, they're not damaged.
The scars are the things that bring you glory. That hurt and pain that you felt in your life, even though right now it may not feel like it, pain will turn into something else and allows you to do things and reach out to people and have experiences that nobody else could have. Because when I realized that my scars were where my glory was, my scars were where, we're going to get to this and do revenge. OMG, I'm getting excited. Your scars are where your glory is. Scars were where truly will allow me to go into spaces that could help other people.
And that's the thing. Yeah, like people think, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. This X, Y, Z, damaged me or whatever. But it's
not
like,
damaged.
First, you're not damaged.
You're not
And
damaged.
secondly, that scar that you have, it may be 10 years down the line and you meet someone who may go through something similar. You meet someone who is currently in that season of whatever it may be that you went through, that you were able to grow, and you may be able to give them advice. You may be able to help them come out of that, and it's like you'll grow to appreciate that season you was in where you was going
and another
through.
thing is the scars don't damage you. The scars make you a better version of you.
Exactly.
That's why I like to think of the scars as the leftovers.
It's almost
because
like
you're making something. You're making something new.
Shedding something out for
Which
yourself.
you're taking, because the things that we feel shame and guilt and just like beating ourselves over. I've learned, I'm like, if I feel shame about this, I'm going to confront it and I'm going to be like this. Instead of shaming myself for the mistake I made, I'm going to look at that mistake and I said, but what did I learn from this?
Exactly.
What can I take away from this? And how can I turn it into a positive? If I hurt somebody, and I feel guilty over it, then I'm like, how did I hurt this person? I can take that. I can turn around and be like, I hurt this person this way, but I know I can do better next time.
Yeah. Do better next time.
I'm a better person now.
Where you messed up.
And I said this thing that it was messed up, but you know what? I know what I said. I also give myself like patience and like I'm nice to myself, right?
And that's it.
I'm nice to myself. So I'm like, you did this from a place of hurt, okay? You said this from a place of hurt. That's why you said that. So understand what hurt you and understand that because I did this from a place of hurt, I know now what I can work on. And
a lot of people don't give themselves patience. They're not nice to themselves. They're like, I made this mistake. And next thing they just talking about themselves, they talking down themselves, they're thinking all these negative thoughts. They don't give themselves patience because sometimes people think, if I made a mistake, they try to hurry and correct it, but really you trying to correct it is really like capping it. You're putting a cap on it, and it's like you're not correcting it. You're making it worse. You're not even giving yourself a chance to grow.
What do you mean by trying to correct it?
Say, for instance, I did something wrong. I said, say if I said something out of hurt. I said something out of pain. I'm upset, and I just said it to another person. And it's like, instead of allowing myself to grow out of that stage of always talking out of hurt or always talking out of pain, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I won't say it again. I won't be like that again. Like, almost trying to correct it.
So you're saying
saying
that they're ignoring it?
Yeah, it's almost like you're trying to say, I'm sorry. Like throwing apologies at it. But you're not giving yourself grace enough to be like, let me assess. Why did I say what I said? Why was it wrong?
And
and continue.
And then accessing that. And then when you do apologize, because I do feel like you should apologize, you're able to look at yourself and recognize why you did what you did.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, I'm sorry, I'm going to do it again. Then the next time something get heated, next time you're upset, you're doing it again. And you're causing that person like more pain because you're saying, hey, I'm not going to do it again. But they're like, I keep putting myself out here to you, or I keep allowing myself to love you or whatever.
But I don't feel safe.
But yeah, I don't feel safe because every time something gets heated or we're in the moment of things, you're throwing things that are hurtful or painful.
Okay, technical difficulties.
When
you're a part of the I'm a Fan of podcast, you get used to being in technical difficulty. No, you don't. I try not to have people get used to being in technical
Yes.
difficulties, but
Because if you tell people they get used to technical difficulties, they're not going to want to be on your podcast.
true.
So we take that back. He lied.
But doing this podcast has really gotten me into technical difficulties and how to fix them. So I'm learning. We were talking about all that self-love and stuff, but we forgot about the movie. So
yeah,
we're
I'm
going
just get a little carried away. So we
we
go.
get a little. That's actually what we do on our Fandom podcast. We get carried away and then go into a whole nother thing.
You start talking
and then
about
some.
real life.
Yes. So what were we talking about? We were talking about the movie. So basically, he exposed Drea. She punched him in the face, and Drea goes to talk to the headmaster, which is Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Exactly.
the queen. And the headmaster tells her, you handled it wrong. She doesn't have the opportunity to act on impulse like all these other rich kids.
No, she doesn't.
She can't be like them. She's like, you're going to community service.
Yes.
And you're going to learn to control your anger to get what you want, not the other way around.
Yes. You can't go around punching people in the face. Apparently, that's an issue.
So she at first tries to figure out why he did this, why he did that. She decided to channel her anger, so she went to tennis camp.
Tennis camp was a great choice for her, if I do say so myself.
Why?
Because she could have put all her energy into destroying him or tried to destroy him.
But she did.
She did. But initially, she went to tennis camp. So her anger was let out on tennis balls and also on old girl who was claiming that she wasn't on crack.
She wasn't on cocaine at that point. She wasn't. I don't
She
think
was not, but Drea
she eventually got on it.
falsely accused her. And then eventually, yes.
I don't even know what it looks like.
She was screaming. And then
But
like
before she goes to camp, we go to Eleanor's perspective because it's two people. So Eleanor does the monologuing. She's driving to tennis camp, talking to her mom, and she ends up hanging up on her. And she's at the tennis camp. She's reading the book Strangers on a Train. Do you know what that book is?
No.
This movie is based off of that book. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
So if anybody read Strangers on the Train, if you read that book, I think you might get an idea of what this movie is about. We've already spoiled like some of it.
Yeah, we did. But you should still watch it on your own. Get your own perspective.
And her entire life is about to change because of Drea.
Exactly.
And so the girls in the bathroom are gossiping. Their names are Erica, who's Sophie Turner, and someone else whose name I do not know, so I just call her someone else. And they end up talking about Dre or whatever. And Eleanor is there, and they think they're listening to her, and they're being all mean girl-she about it. Eleanor goes to tell her that Erica is the one that showed the video to everyone at tennis camp. We find out later that's a lie.
A false accusation.
It was a lie because
I wonder why she did that, though.
she did it so she could find a way for Dre to trust her.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
So if she can get on her good side by telling her,
This was all part of the plan.
by telling her that Erica did something that Erica didn't do, what she actually did, it would
And
be a good
that's
side.
why she had said that she was on cocaine. Yeah, it's coming back to me.
So Drea ends up getting Erica in trouble because she's caught for doing cocaine that she didn't really do. And
We
I'm just
just
like,
believed her.
pray for Erica. Pray for her, everyone. Pray for Erica.
Isn't that what she said?
Yes,
right?
she says,
Yes.
pray for Erica.
After she
She's
came up
really
with
on
the
my
rumor.
mind. Erica is really on my mind. I feel for that girl. And Drea's car ends up being bricked. So Eleanor gives her a ride. And they end up talking about the video and how Eleanor is going to
And when
transfer to
you watch
Rose
that
Hill.
movie, guys, pay attention to the fact that her car got messed up. Pay attention to that fact.
So she transformed to
Keep that in
Rose
your head.
Hill. And they end up talking about being screwed over. And Eleanor tells her the story of when she was 13. She talked to this girl who she told she was queer. And she became friends with her. And she thought she was a friend, but the girl ended up telling everybody that she
Her
tried to
secret.
hold her down and kiss her. So
Yes.
she didn't tell
Oh,
her a
yeah, she didn't
secret.
tell a
She
secret.
lied.
She lied.
So she told her that she was queer. And then, because she thought they
This
were becoming
girl-
friends. And then the girl went and told everyone that she tried to
Baby.
hold her down and kiss her.
She came out the womb spreading rumors.
So she ended up destroying her by accusing her of being a predator, which is not okay to do. Gay people are accused of being predators all the time. That's not okay. It's not. It's not true.
You should do that to
It's
people.
not true. It's not okay. And
That's
she
so
goes
messed up.
she goes to their school and she tells Drea that it's Carissa. And Drea's, you mean the crunchy granola lesbian?
Should have knew then.
I was like,
That's how she described her.
yes. So she was like, you were outed by your own team? That has to hurt. And then they end up doing primal screams to let out their anger.
Yes.
So-
Which actually helps. Sometimes you just gotta scream. Whether you're in your car, whether you're outside, whether you're in your room in a pillow.
And Eleanor just tells her, good for you on screaming, truly. Eleanor tells her that she didn't want to transfer to Rose Hill, but her parents forced her to. So on the first day of school, we see Eleanor walking up and we see her looking at the climate change activists. And that's where Gabby, Max's sister, introduces herself to Eleanor. And she does the classic teen introduction group thing. If you ever seen a teen movie, you know what I'm talking about. Is out when they're outside or they're in the cafeteria, and the one friend takes the other friend and shows them, these are the nerds, these are the popular kids, these are the lesbians, these are the bookworms, these are the theater kids,
These the gangsters.
These are the gangsters. She take her through the classic teen movie thing everybody does when they're new in school. Think Mean Girls. Think any other teen movie that I cannot think of right now.
Any other one, literally.
Think any Disney Channel movie too.
High School Musical.
I feel like
Disney.
Camp Rock did that. Yeah.
Look at-
Okay. And also, when she's talking to her about that, she ends up seeing Carissa. Eleanor ends up seeing Carissa. And they recognize each other because Carissa's the girl that she told Drea about, right? And also, talking to Carissa is this handsome guy with this blue hair, right? He has blue hair.
Yes.
Russ.
Ain't nothing
He's
rusty
important.
about Russ. I don't know why I just said that.
Yeah, and that she ends up seeing Drea too. So Drea goes to talk to her old friends. And there they are, gossiping. New school. And they're like, my favorites are there. Tara and Elliot are there. I love Elliot. I don't know. I don't like black men. So when I see a black man, that's not true. I love black men.
He does not like the ways of black men. The ways
No,
of black
I like
men.
black men. I think black men are awesome. I just think black men have problems. Like everybody.
Say we.
Like everybody.
You are a black man.
Yes.
Yes. Black men
we all
have
have
issues
problems.
like
Issues.
black women, white women.
I just feel like they should have given Elliot more. I'm trying to
Again.
say. They should have given Elliot
They
more.
should have, because
Him and
he
Tara.
didn't really shine until towards the end.
Oh my gosh. I was like, yes, you go, Elliot. I got so excited, but we'll get there. And Tara, I love Tara. Tara is the best character in the movie. Anyways, even though she
what
makes
she
mistakes,
did was messed up.
but
That was messed
everything everybody did in this movie was messed up.
Yeah, I was like, God dang.
So Tara's like, Drea, I meant to text you. And then Max shows up and he was telling Drea, I hope we can move on. And she was like, yeah, sarcastically, of course. And then it is revealed that he and Tara are dating.
Together.
Speaking of Elliot, why Elliot is like the best male character in this movie. Whenever he's in the background and you just see the faces that he makes,
yeah,
he
his
be like,
facial expressions work.
he basically be like, I'm not a part of this.
Yeah.
That's basically what he be doing. His facial expressions. And that's why he's my favorite, him and Tara. And
because they're black.
And because they're black. Honestly, truly, yes.
I'm just letting y'all know.
Claim them. I claim the toxic black people sometimes on TV because black people are allowed to be toxic. And I claim the non-toxic black people because black people are also allowed to be non-toxic. So I just claim all the black people. And I'm like, unless it's some racist thing that's going on. I'm like, shoo fly.
Sure.
What I mean by racist, I mean the black person, they just like making fun of the black person in a racialized way.
I don't like that.
I don't like that. So I'll be like, go away. You deserve better. I'll be go away to the white people and I'll be like, you can come, black people, but you deserve better.
Come together.
You deserve better. And they all run into each other. Eleanor, who is Nora, runs into Carissa. Meanwhile, the girlies are gossiping about Drea. And you can tell that Tara is actually feeling guilty in that scene.
Yeah.
She was feeling
she
guilty.
definitely was.
She said something. I don't remember what it was, but I wrote in my notes. You can tell Tara feels guilty. So that's how I know she feels guilty. And Max does a speech about what happened last year.
Oh,
this is the thing.
So
he made it
annoying.
all about him.
Yes. Oh, I can't stand when people do that.
He tells her in public to stand up so he could publicly apologize in front of the whole school. And he asked anyone who shared the video to take a look at themselves. Everyone who shared the video besides him to take a look at themselves.
He's the one who put it out there in the first place. Then he turns around and states that he's starting a new club.
Yes, the cis hetero men champion female identifying students league.
Yes.
It's for the men at Rose Hill who want to do better.
I don't know what made him come up with this idea.
I feel like it would be better if he would have created a club for the female students.
Yes, that the stuff actually happened too.
Actually, I would feel better if he would have had the club created by the female students and he would have stayed out of it and had somebody else reveal the club, like Tara, right? Or asking Drea. Don't ask Drea because you don't. So just don't make a club.
Don't make a club.
Don't.
Just apologize for your actions and move on. Sir, what made you think that having that club would make her feel any better? Now, that may make you feel better about yourself. It's like he was trying to justify his actions.
He was trying to justify his actions without apologizing.
And I'm like,
And so Drea ended up being embarrassed and leaving. And Eleanor goes to check up on her. And Eleanor was like, I wish we had some sort of high school hitman that could just get these people to like...
The tea is real.
Yeah. And Drea was like, gets the idea that they should do each other's revenge.
Yes.
And Eleanor's, no, I can't do...
That's where it come from.
The title. And Eleanor's like, I can't do revenge. And like, sure. And no one...
Sure you can't.
But Drea's like, no one can connect us to each other.
Yeah.
With my brains and your blank slate, we could team up. And so that's what they do. And then my favorite, the other scene that always comes in teen movies is the makeover scene.
Yes.
Ever seen a teen movie?
Inevitable. There's
a makeover scene. It's inevitable. She's All That, Surrounds on makeovers. Mean Girls, also makeovers. What else does makeovers? Every
High
teen
School
movie.
Musical. I don't know why High School Musical keep coming to my head.
It does.
About this movie, but yes, it's every
Hannah Montana
movie.
isn't even a teen movie, but it's about but she's always making over because she has to pretend to be someone she's not. Like
just like Eleanor had to.
Yeah, anything about surrounding teens, especially in movies, has a makeover scene. And to be fair, makeover scenes are my favorite scenes in teen movies.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun to watch. It just goes to show that people will literally try to make themselves into someone else just to fit in.
Yes.
That's sad.
That is sad. But also stylish clothes. So I have to pick and choose which one I like better when watching these teen movies. Or movies in general. Like rom-coms in general. Do I like that they change clothes better? Or should I really be thinking about the psychological aspects of why they did what they did? Because a lot of times in these teen makeover movies, they treat them having a makeover as them being better than what they used to be. Like saying you being a nerd is bad, or you being yourself isn't good. Or they'd be like, you are yourself at the end of the film, but guess what? You're prettier now.
That's terrible.
And I feel like teen movies, this does a good job of like taking that trope and turning it on its head, because they use revenge as the reason as to why she gets a makeover. They're not doing it to change her. They're doing it to get her to fit into a group on purpose. On purpose to get the revenge.
She's not doing it to fit in.
Yeah, she's not doing it to fit
by
in.
herself. She has a reason as to why.
She has a reason as to why she's doing it. It's empowering in that way, even though it's a little evil.
Just a little.
You can be evil and empowering at the same time, just as you can be good and empowering at the same time. Now, I would rather good.
I would rather good too.
But the best characters are usually like the evil characters. It's like I was saying, Eleanor gets a makeover, don't be evil. But she gets a makeover like all teen movies. And I like to say, lipstick, high heels, hairstyles. That's what she gets. If you ever heard SNSD, it's like, when I say lipstick, you say check. I say high heels, you say check. And I say hairstyles, you say check,
How do I say check?
Check.
Check.
High heels, check. Hairstyles, check, check. Check, check. Check,
check. Okay, and then the makeover scene. And she's scared, but Drea says narcissists are too busy thinking about themselves to realize that they are being played. All she has to do is walk in front of him to get his attention. And that's what she does. And
Definitely what she does.
she gets his attention. Meanwhile, Drea, on the other hand, is at the farm trying to become friends with Carissa, who she once called a human Birkenstock. And she tells her to talk to Ross and that she doesn't like butt kissing. Russ. I put Ross. Carissa tells Drea to talk to Russ because she don't like to do all that butt kissing.
She's not a big fan of of Drea at all.
And Eleanor is, on the other hand, while she has Max's attention, she's worried what to say. And Drea tells her, cool, and only say it 3 times. And Drea finds out that Carissa, meanwhile, is cooking at the ring ceremony. Mm-hmm. And she has a greenhouse where she has crops from all over the world.
Yes, quote unquote.
And they're crops. They're really crops.
They are really crops.
And Max invites Eleanor to his party, and Eleanor is okay, and they're like all happy. They do the giddy friendship dance. But Eleanor, she's worried, right? Because she's never worn a swimsuit before. And Dre's like, man, that girl must have really messed you up after doing all that lying, right? And
she's way out of her comfort zone at this point.
She also has an emotional support bearded dragon called Oscar Award winner Olivia Colman.
Yes.
OAWOC for short.
That's the whole name.
OWAC. And yeah, so they do that. Drea's old friends are actually pretty inviting to Eleanor. Max invites Max. Yeah, they're like, Max introduces her and they're like, Eleanor, yes, come sit with us. And meanwhile, Russ goes to talk to Drea and they flirt a bit, right? And she knew they were going to be there. And she finds the keys to the greenhouse. By they, I mean her and Carissa. Yeah. I mean him, like Russ and Carissa. Because she went to the beach. She knew they were going to be there. And she ends up stealing the keys to the greenhouse from Carissa. And Eleanor ends up flirting not only with Max, but his sister, too.
Yes.
At the party. Gabby. I'm like, cute, but like, she's raiding their house because she was like in a fridge or something. I forgot. She was like raiding their house. No, she was in the fridge. I was saying cute. She's raiding their house because she's going all in his room. Mm-hmm. That's when he and Tara come in. But before he and Tara come in, she finds out that he's hooking up with the Instagram witch Allegra.
Yep.
Yes.
Because he tried for it.
And so that's when Tara wants to talk to him about Drea, and they were best friends, but all he wants to do is have sex with her and not talk about it. And Tara, like I said earlier, tells him to have sex with himself and leaves out angrily.
Yes.
And then he hears somebody's there and he knows that it's Eleanor. She's hiding and he's like, Eleanor.
And she just got caught.
And he's really good at pretending to be understanding. He knows how to say all the right things, which is scary.
Very, actually.
Because it's like, that's just how he reads people. He just knows how to say all the right things to make people feel good and heard about themselves. And it's like,
hey, boom. He attacks.
Do you find that kind of scary?
It's very scary. People like that are scary because it's like, never know when they being real.
Or when they being fake.
Their ulterior.
I find that people like that, those are actually narcissists, actually. That, like, they tell you what you want to hear and then, like, they use you or whatever. And then when you're that one friend telling everybody that this person is just, like, really a narcissist and they're not good for you, people are like, no, but that's not my experience with them. That's exactly what happens in the movie. They're a good person. And then...
such a great listener.
Yeah, and then they...
Psych.
Then they show you their true colors. I feel bad for him because I want him to get better. But that's not what this movie is about.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to get some therapy.
Therapy works.
Some intense therapy for years and years, for his whole life, honestly, so he can get out of that. Because people think of narcissism as a trait. It's not. It's really... I'm not getting into it. If you want to learn about narcissism, you can go and learn about it.
Yeah.
So he just knows how to pretend, say just the right things. And he and her have a heart-to-heart, really, about, like, him pretending or something. Is that the same scene?
With him and Eleanor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's when he was like, he didn't want that to be his life and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. And then, so after that, Drea and Eleanor sneak into the greenhouse, and you know what they see? It's full of shrooms, and it's full of weed. I think I saw weed. I don't know. But it's full of shrooms, I know that. And they were, like, a whole bunch of them. Like, she's growing a whole garden of them.
Oh, baby.
And they were like, shrooms always look so weird. I'm like, how can you put that in your mouth? It's weird. But it looks weird.
Creep me out.
Yeah, like the shape of them, but I don't know, they'd be so long. Anyways, so Drea comes up with the plan to dose the entire class at the senior dinner with shrooms, while Eleanor steals Max's phone to get the text that she found about Allegra. So Max does an announcement at the ceremony while Drea sneaks in the shrooms into the food. And his speech is like really inspiring. Go Rose Hill Tigers! And Drea sits next to Russ and Carissa. But as the food is being served, the girls meet up in the bathroom. And the people go crazy.
Berserk.
Allegra,
Berserk.
Drea's old friends come in and all like, and like laughing and just what's going on or whatever. And when they go out, Allegra and the witch, it's crazy. It's an iconic scene. That's going to be an iconic scene one day, I promise. Allegra and the witches, they think they're levitating the girl. Like they're real witches. They're literally like, they say the little thing that you say when you levitate. And then they're all looking. The girl's still on the ground.
On the ground.
But they're like, we're doing it. It's working. It's working.
Their fingers just laid there.
We're doing it. It's working. She's laying on the ground. And I'm like, wow.
No one's moving.
No one's moving. I'm like, y'all need to find a new hobby because witchcraft isn't working for you.
They were tripping so bad. It was funny.
I'll just stick to watching, what's that movie with Rachel True? That movie. Go watch. Just stick to watching that. Let that be the only thing because I can't tell you The Craft. Like, stick to watching The Craft because I can't do nothing for you after that. You can't make it levitate. Terrible. It was horrible. But then, like, people are dancing, licking. Like, this one guy was licking the other guy's leg. I was like, what? Because he was like, what is this? And started licking it. I'm like, okay. And then, like, riding golf carts.
That was his first thought was, what is this? And then,
he didn't have a thought.
Lick it.
I'm just saying he said, what is this? He didn't say it out loud, but you assuming that's what he's thinking, what is this? Because he's licking somebody's leg.
He was licking that leg.
And then riding golf carts and, like, running over people. And then the headmaster ends up finding the shrooms in the soup. Yeah. And Carissa even says she's going to Russ. She's like, Russ, I think we might have been drugged. And Elliot, being the best, like, ever, is chill out. We're just chilling.
I ain't doing that. Max was under the table.
Yes.
Like, hallucinating.
And Eleanor ends up getting a hold of his phone. He knows he's afraid of spiders. And she's like, spiders. He's like, oh, spiders. They're all over me. They're all over me. And she takes his phone.
Oh, that's just set up. That's set up. That's
and so
up.
While the girls are getting the contents of the phone, they watch as the headmaster finds the shrooms in the greenhouse. And basically after that, they have a sleepover and have a heart-to-heart. And Drea reveals to Eleanor that she used to be so afraid of inviting her friends over because she was scared
to be judged.
To be judged by them.
Because she didn't have the big, gigantic house and all those nice things. She just lived in a regular home. Her mom worked a lot.
Yeah. And they find out that Max was basically with half the girls at school.
Oh, yeah.
And Drea actually gets sad. I'm like, it's very understandable that she's sad because they were dating. And then you find out he cheated with everyone. So if he cheated with everyone, half the girls at the school when he's dating Tara, imagine like what he was doing when he was with Drea, you know what I mean? And Eleanor ends up comforting her and tells her she's allowed to feel like the situation sucks. She's allowed to feel that way, which is true. And Drea asks if she thinks she'll ever feel better because she feels angry all the time. There's like this knot in her chest. And the Max stuff made it worse, but it's always been there. Every day it gets tighter and stronger, and she feels like it's getting stronger and that it hurts to exist. She just wants to feel normal again. And she's like, Eleanor, I like you. You're just like me. She's like, I am. And you're like, huh? At first, and then you like, when you realize what she means by that, at first you think, yeah, I am because I'm doing the revenge like you. But it's like, I am because I'm doing the revenge like you.
Like you, yeah.
First, honestly. Okay, and Tara and Megan ended up being on air on TV the next day talking about Max and his accidental feminism in their school magazine, The Thorn. And this also hurts Drea, so she leaves the school and runs into Russ, and they decide to ditch together. And he takes her to his warehouse that his dad gave him. I'm like, these rich people getting warehouses and everything. I said, I wish. Give me a warehouse. And he's an artist. Go figure. He's in a warehouse. And after his parents got a divorce, he was quite angry because he felt that he was caught between the whole thing. And
as most kids do when the parents divorce.
So throwing paint helped him channel his rage. And it's helped him, especially since Carissa got expelled. And she just doesn't mention anything. She does not mention that. She got Carissa expelled.
She ain't do all this. Like,
And
she
so-
wasn't the cause of all this.
But following that is just like this cute scene of them throwing paint at each
Mm-hmm.
other. It's real cute on the canvases too. And they make out as
Because
most
to me,
teens
they
do.
were such a cute couple, but it was like I still felt bad for him because she was doing all that stuff to like
Carissa.
and that was like his best friend. But at the same time, I'm like, they are such a cute couple.
But they end up making it out. Teens do that, I think. Then he ends up telling her not to tie her worth to superficial things like school, and that he's sorry about what happened between her and Max. And then they make out even more. And then the next day is Max's speech because it's Valentine's Day and he wants everyone to take the day and make it about loving themselves. That's when Eleanor sends the text and the whole school is like revealing Max's true nature, and the most iconic scene of this movie plays. It's just like, I'm shocked. This is shocking news. Shocking. I'm shocked. Film this my A, you know? And it's like, yes. Like, it's shocking. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And Tara asks the girls to cover her because she's embarrassed, and so they all cover her with their jackets. And she's like walking out.
She was shamed.
And
It
the
was
whole
so
school is-
bad for him.
The whole school turns into Gossip City, and his sister checks on him. That's when I remember that's his sister, the first time, because I forget after that. But I'm like, why is she checking on him? And then Tara calls her dad's strategist for help.
Oh my gosh, she did do that, huh?
And so basically what happens
forgot.
is that the friends end up telling the whole school that Tara and Max are like polyamorous now, and that
Yeah,
they're open and polyamorous. And then a whole school, I'm just like, this guy has some sort of spell on them. It's like, I can be with Max. I have a chance with Max. I have a chance with Max. Everybody.
Literally everybody.
Girls, guys,
Boys,
the whole
it didn't
school.
matter.
I said, whoa, hold
I'm
up.
like,
What is it about this boy?
Yes, who even is he?
Is he like the richest kid in school? It must
That's
be.
probably what it was.
Because I'm like, they're like, I have a chance with Max. I'm like, no, you don't.
And they were like in groups, like discussing it. I'm like, no.
I'm like, is he literally hooking up with the entire school?
He probably was.
Like, he probably took it. But then that's like the biggest open secret. Then why would people be so shocked and stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Why were they shocked? Because he was hooking up with a lot of people.
yeah, but
But maybe it was shocking because
I'm just like, what I mean is like, these kids, I'm like, y'all need to gain some self-respect for yourselves. Because if your first thought when you find out they're polyamorous is that
you have a chance.
you have a chance with him, I would take just like a good look at myself and wonder why I care so much that I have a chance with this boy.
That's funny. It makes you seem like you have very little value.
Yes. Why would you betray yourself so much in order to be with one person? Is like what I'm trying to say. What is it that
I guess
they
they
can
want
give
to
you
feel
that you
important.
can't?
I guess they want to.
But
feel
they are important. That's the
no,
problem.
but I'm saying they probably don't feel important though because that's the popular group. If you're not a popular group, then you pretty much don't matter. Basically, is what they're saying. And so when they get the one guy who was like the most popular guy of the school,
I have a chance with
thinking,
him.
oh, this is my chance to be important.
It's a lie. You are important. You matter. You're valuable. I love you. So anyways, the headmaster, so the plan is a backfired. And so the headmaster calls Drea to the office and she's trimming her bonsai. That's when you know she's really vexed. She's quite vexed because she's just trimming her bonsai and she hardly has any left. You know why she's quite vexed? And Drea's like, uh-oh, she knows that I drugged the entire school. Or that I sent out a mass text message to the entire school that Max is like sleeping with everyone. And that's not why she's called. It's because Yale rejected her due to her grade slipping. And she has no extracurriculars. And she assaulted Max.
Yeah.
And so it's because she's ended up being too like distracted by the revenge. Because of this, she's like, Max did this. Max did this. And I'm like, no, Max did that. You did all this. No offense.
She was blaming it
She was blaming
Max.
it all on Max. She should have took a look at herself. That's the thing that she learned.
Long, hard stare.
I feel like she was doing both. She was blaming Max and she was blaming herself. Because if she wasn't blaming herself, she wouldn't have asked why he did this.
Yeah.
She would have because that's natural to ask. If somebody do that, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
That's very natural to do. But I think instead she pins the problem on Max because she doesn't like want to, I don't know, look at the entire situation and look like there's something in herself that she has to look at it. Because if she really wanted revenge, I feel like the best revenge is just like being like yourself and living the best successful life ever.
Like Beyonce said, that's revenge is your paper.
Yes. Because you end up doing it for yourself. And Eleanor tries to comfort her, but she's only thinking about herself. She's like, don't touch me. And it's all quite sad. Andrea wants to take them all down. So since Eleanor got into an Ivy, she tells her about this huge party. And the other girls tell her about the huge admissions party. Cell phones are not allowed. It's a party that goes from sun up to sundown. And she needs her to get in there. And Drea snapped. She snapped. She's out of it now. And Eleanor's phone, she asks Drea, does she want to hang out on her birthday?
Yeah.
She forgets all about it. But she ends up still blowing up her phone, not caring that's her birthday. And so she and Gabby end up spending their birthday together and end up kissing. And I was like, I guess Max doesn't have a chance. Thank the Lord.
He didn't deserve a chance.
He didn't deserve a chance at all.
Not one chance.
I'm so glad that she didn't fall for Max like that. Because I'm just like, oof.
That would have been very dumb.
Yeah. And so Eleanor comes home to find out that everyone threw a surprise party for her. Because at first she thought it was Drea. Just Drea, you know what I mean? But no, it's all of Drea's old friends. Because they remembered her birthday, but Drea didn't remember her birthday.
She did not remember.
And Drea is in her room, like, texting, what's going on with you?
Oh, she was texting her so many messages.
Oh my gosh.
It
was, I was like
girl.
Whoa. Like, it was like blowing up.
Back to back. She was literally blowing up her phone.
Yeah. And like,
I'm like, they're not
for no reason.
To you that it's her birthday.
It's her birthday. And I get it. You want your revenge, but
You
come
shouldn't
on.
put that over your friendship. Like, no one deserves that.
Yeah, she was just blowing up her phone. And it was stuff all about her. See, I did that once. I blew up somebody's phone like that. But, yeah, man. I blew up someone's phone like that. But I did that. I'm just going to reveal this part of myself that I blew up somebody's phone because I was angry at them. Because they said something that I was insecure about. And then I felt like I had to defend myself. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you live and you learn.
You live and you learn. I wouldn't do that again. Because I was quite sad. I was quite sad and depressed before and afterwards. Because I ended up feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to hurt them. Because they said insecurity. Because let me tell you about myself. We're going to go into deep Kaiser mode. We're turning it to me about myself. Because I'm trying to be more open. And so basically what they said is that I liked them too much. Basically. And they didn't know what to do about that. An insecurity that I always had that I never realized that I had until recently looking at myself is that I always felt that I wasn't good enough for people, right? And so I'm always like, why is this person my friend? And I was like, why does this person want to talk to me? Why does this person have any sort of interest in me? And I'll be like, I'm not good enough for them. And my biggest fear was that, one, I would be abandoned. And two, that if I were just like too nice to a person or whatever, they think I like them too much. Yeah. And when they said, I don't know what I did to make you think I liked you so much, I got upset and I got heated. I was so heated. And
you flashed out.
I flashed out the next day because I was like, I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna write in my journal. I'm gonna figure this out. I'll figure out what to say to them because I don't want to. And I want to hurt them, if I'm being honest. So, like, part of me wanted to hurt them in that moment. Also didn't want to hurt them. And so I felt bad for that for a long time. Because basically what I did is, what I thought were their insecurities, I basically just threw it at them. And I told them, you need to do better. This is your fault that this happened and that happened. And I was blaming them, but that was because I just didn't want to look at myself at the moment. I wish I wouldn't have, if I go back, I wouldn't have done that. But after doing what I did, it ended up sending me on a journey to loving myself and being a better person. And there's a part of me that wishes I did reach out to them and send an email to apologize.
Not an apology email.
I did. Well, they blocked me.
When in doubt, baby, I got the email address.
Yeah, I have the email address. And so I sent them an email just to apologize.
Yes, indeed.
Because what I did was wrong. It wasn't okay.
It was not okay.
It was not okay. But I learned what I did in that moment. I learned to forgive myself. And it still hurts. Because they did hurt me, too. Their hurt was in response to something I did to them. But anyways, not that I did on purpose, but they wouldn't talk to me. It's not their fault that I sent that.
What you said.
That I said what they said. That's what I'm saying. It's not their fault. You know what I mean? How they responded to me, because they basically did the same thing back to me and then blocked me. And I didn't read it till the day after. But yeah, basically what I'm saying, and look at yourself, because she basically did the same thing and she ended up blaming him because she didn't look at herself.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's important to Do Revenge really reminded me of that. Like watching them, when I watched the movie the first time, I was like really sad watching that friendship like break up because it reminded me too much. But then watching it again the second time, like it reminded me of that again, but it reminded me how much I've grown after taking the steps and realizing that I'm really in charge of myself. And while things hurt, I have to look at it from another perspective as those people are working from they're living from their hurt. I'm doing from my hurt. And I hurt them not because it was about them. I hurt them because I was hurt.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. They say hurt people. That's true.
If I could just like reconcile, I would have done that. You know what I mean? But you gotta let it be. And you just gotta, if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Baby, just let it be.
So if you're listening, I apologize again. Yeah. And I hope that you're doing well. And I hope that you're growing too, because you're an amazing person. But anyways, I'm an amazing person too. I had to learn that. But anyways, that's what happened. And she was literally blaming him. And she ends up going to the party because she sees the party on Instagram.
Yep.
She shows up to the party.
Unexpected and uninvited.
And she and Eleanor end up getting into an argument.
A big argument too.
And Drea tells Eleanor that she's being controlled. This is the scene that was just like really hard for me to watch the first time. It's like being controlled, and Gabby catches them arguing, and Eleanor basically gaslights Drea by asking her if she's sure that Max leaked the video. And I'm like, sis, you know that Max leaked the video.
She knew deep down.
You knew that he did that, but she did that to get a hit at her. You know what I mean? Because in defense. And so Gabby sees this, and she's like, I love my brother. You and I both know that he did that. And one thing about this movie is like everybody was gaslighting Drea.
They did.
I can see why she was like really angry, because they were like, Max wouldn't do something like that. And they were all taking his side. But it's like, yes, he would.
Because he did.
And because he did. And I'm like, I feel like a lot of people, like her friends especially, knew that he did it, but they decided not to believe her.
Because I guess they felt like being with him or having him as a friend or in their circle was more important than her feelings. So they was just like making themselves believe, oh, he wouldn't do that, but they really knew. Yes, he did. He did do that. So
yeah, because after the actions that happened, like by the time like you find out that he cheated with every girl in the school, especially
for real,
I would put two and two together that. And I think they did, but I think they're in denial, especially Tara, because she ended up in that situation. Elliot.
They just felt like he was too important. Like, he couldn't be touched. So
he has that much power.
Yeah.
That's what this movie's about. Power dynamics and forgiveness.
Ain't got that much power, buddy.
Yeah. And Gabby leaves Eleanor and Drea leaves Eleanor. So Drea, her car stops working. She needs to pick up her mom. So she ends up calling Paul's Auto, right? Apparently last time someone removed her spark plug.
Yeah.
That's why her car wasn't working.
Yep.
I don't know why they didn't tell her that
in the first place.
Yeah. That seems like something you should tell somebody, that somebody removed your spark plug. If that was all that happened. Your spark plug was gone. Somebody removed it. And she realizes that maybe, just maybe, the person that she knows that fixes cars is Eleanor, right?
That was the only person she knew.
And so she goes back to the tennis camp, and she ends up running into Erica, who ended up got kicked out of tennis camp.
Yeah, because of the rumor.
And she lost her Stanford scholarship, and she actually got addicted to coke.
Yeah.
So now she's in a program, and she has to make amends with people that she's hurt. And so she takes Drea by the face, and she said, Drea, I wish you the worst. She basically just wishes her the worst. And she tells her she loves her earballs. I love the earballs too. They were really nice.
They were nice.
Quite nice.
The only thing was I felt so uncomfortable during that scene. Like, they so close. I couldn't have somebody that close to me. Like, I would have just been like,
but that's the point. That's the point. She's supposed to, she wants her to feel uncomfortable because of what she did.
Exactly.
She wants to get on her face.
She was just touching her face. Like, it was funny though.
I don't know what it looks like.
And this sticks in my head. I don't do coke. Like
She
Sophie,
was so serious.
Sophie Turner was in this movie for 3 scenes, and she made the most out of her time in this movie. Her
Yes, she
character
did.
stood out so much. She was literally one of the best parts of the movie, even though she was, and that's saying a lot because I really like this movie.
Yeah, this movie was really good.
Yeah. And Drea goes to visit, like to talk to Carissa and Erica. She ends up painting a very mean
Yes,
picture of Drea,
of
like
Drea.
fire. And
It was so mean.
it was
I'm
so funny.
like-
She was looking at her so intensely while she was doing it too. And I was like, yes, sis, yes. And
Stayed
like,
up with him.
she tells her, Carissa ends up telling Drea that she and Eleanor were girlfriends.
Yeah.
But that Drea asked her about starting a rumor, and she
Yeah,
was like, Drea, you
that was
started a
you did that.
rumor, not me.
I didn't do that. You did that.
You're the one who started the rumor. And she was like, don't you remember Nora? And then and she was like, yeah. And she was like, wait, nosy Nora? I'm like, yes, sis. Wait, how could you not put... You were so caught up in your own self and getting revenge,
Eleanor,
caught up in other people
Nora.
that you didn't put it together that the girl who
You
told the rumor was
basically-
you.
Yes, you basically quote unquote destroyed her, and you didn't even know.
I'm like,
It didn't even register to you.
and it was the same rumor and everything. And I'm
Exactly.
like, wait, only one person told that rumor. And Carissa wasn't the one who told the rumor, so who else could it be? You.
It was you.
I'm like, girl. And then it all put together. She was like, she was the one who sent the video to the tennis camp. She's the one that took the spark plug. And then that's when she goes back home and she runs into Eleanor. And
Yes, Eleanor was up in her house.
because Eleanor realized,
That was creepy.
Eleanor thought that they were becoming friends. And she was thinking, you know what, we're friends now.
Like,
I can
this
let
is not
all this
necessary.
go.
Yeah.
And then she just realized that after the birthday party, that Drea was just the same mean 13-year-old girl that she met at the summer camp. And so when Drea's at the house, she tells her that she had the upper hand the entire time. Like she said, narcissists are too busy focused on themselves to realize that they're being played. Carissa ended up jumping back in the closet when Nora needed her most, and she felt betrayed by that, right? It does show you that rumors aren't harmless comments.
Yeah.
The things that you say to
Very
people,
harmful.
the things that happen in your formative years are the things that affect you for your entire life. Because when those things happen to you, you develop coping mechanisms that might not be healthy. And the hardest thing in life when it comes to those things is not learning those things, it's unlearning them. Because when you learn them, it's easy to keep them because you have them for such a long time. When you unlearn them, it takes even longer.
That's true.
Like when we were saying, we're talking about how people like have the coping mechanism earlier of cutting people off and giving the silent
Yes.
treatment.
Mhm.
But when you do it for so long, you get used
It's
to
like,
it. And it's
yeah,
hard
it's
to
second
unlearn that
nature.
because it's scary to actually go and say your feelings. Because when you
And
do,
face them.
yeah, and face your feelings. Because when you have to face them, like you really have to be uncomfortable and do the most
It
discomforting
is
thing.
uncomfortable facing your feelings.
It's so uncomfortable.
It's so easy to run and hide. That's why it's so easy for people to ghost people. It's so easy for people to give silent treatment. It's so easy for people to, like, if they feel attacked, to attack back. Because if I'm doing this, like, if I ghost you, that means I don't gotta talk it out. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to deal with what I'm feeling with. Same thing with silent treatment. Or if I'm attacking you, then if I'm attacking you and, like, we decide to part ways, I still won't have to deal with my feelings. I'll be like, oh,
And the
we
thing
decided to part
is,
ways with me.
those feelings stay with you and you have this burden on you. And that's why I always say it's like good to forgive people at some point in your life. And truly, because when you forgive someone, you're basically telling them you're off the hook. And I know a lot of people don't want people to be off the hook. You want them to suffer. But at the end of the day, half the time, the people that did what they did to you,
They don't be suffering.
They don't be suffering. Yeah, or you both end up suffering. When you, I feel like that happens more often too. You both end up suffering because the person that did the bad thing to you feels bad. You know what I mean? In my case, when I did like that thing to that person, I felt like so super bad and I was suffering or whatever. And they ghosted me and they didn't want to talk it out. And I ended up like feeling like horrible.
I've never been ghosted before.
Yeah, you've ghosted though.
But I've ghosted plenty of people.
I haven't really ghosted people before. If somebody texts me, I always like text back or whatever. And if I'm not talking to you, I'm the type of person to just tell you why I'm not talking to you anymore.
Like why?
Because I don't like leaving people hanging.
trying to figure out the
trying
why.
to figure out why. I'm like, it will make both our lives so much easier if I just told you what you did or what I did, and I look at myself and like just become a better person after that. Because there's this weight, and you don't realize that the weight's on you because you end up storing all that stuff in, but it's uncomfortable to look back and carry all that
without realizing. It's just like
it's so hard to carry all that stuff. It's so hard, and then once you finally stop carrying it, once you finally do the work, oh my god, it's so much work. But once you start doing the work,
so much work. This ain't easy, baby.
And it's not easy, but at the same time, it's what I realize is not easy to hold all that stuff in either. So when to come to a point, I'm like, either I'm gonna have all this not easy work and just keep it in me, or I can have all this not easy work and actually have a chance at being happier. Give it a try, because one is going to give me a chance to be happier, and it's not the one that I'm just keeping all this stuff and hiding from it. So if I even have a slight little chance to maybe just be happier, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's awkward, even if I have to look at all the nastiest, little dirtiest parts of myself that I tried to hide, that I didn't want to believe about myself, that I felt like I didn't want anyone else to see because I felt like that part of me was just the worst part of me. What I have to realize is that in order to accept and love myself, I have to love all parts of myself. I have to love the ugliest things. I have to love the parts of myself that be like, when somebody tries to hurt me wanting to hurt them back, and me actually doing that, I have to love that part of myself and say, I did that, and I forgive myself, and that's okay. And what lesson did I learn from that? And you have to actually look at yourself. You have to look at yourself. And it's just so uncomfortable. But if I have the chance to be happier, if I have the chance to be peaceful, if I have the chance to have this weight be lifted off of me, then I'm going to take the chance. It's worth it, I think.
That's why I say I choose your heart. Neither one of them are easy.
Both of them are hard.
But choose the one that's going to have a result that's beneficial to you. Carrying that weight of just being in denial, never looking at yourself, I feel like that's gonna cause so much harm in life. Yeah. And that's
it affects every area of your life.
So many opportunities, whether that's friendships, relationships, even like if it's like your career or something. Whatever it is, like it messes up the whole thing because you don't look at yourself and you're not trying to fix what's wrong.
And I'm at the point where I'm just like, I would rather be uncomfortable. And it was like the other day when you remember at church where somebody asked me something, I was like, and I just like told a story, but I was like, you know what? I told myself months ago that by the age 30, I'm just going to stop lying for good. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go back and fix that lie. Because I made this promise to myself, and I want to do better. And you're laughing because it's silly, and it was so small. It was the slightest, smallest little thing. But to me, I was like, but it was a lie. To me, it was like, if I do this now, then I'm gonna do it again some other time. I'm gonna keep doing it, and then I'm gonna end up lying to myself, and I'm gonna be in this pattern. I said, I don't want to be in that pattern. I want to, by the age of 30, not be a liar.
Not be a liar, okay? What y'all don't want to know is
that's gonna benefit all my relationships.
It is.
And you told me like that's impossible or something like that. You said it was impossible or something. I was like, watch me.
Prove me wrong.
And I'm like, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
It was just so funny because I'm like, wait, what happened? And when you told me, I'm like, why did you lie? Like, I was trying to figure out why did he lie?
Because it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable and awkward, and I didn't know what to deal with it. But instead of letting myself sit in that uncomfortable, like even the smallest things, instead of letting myself experience that uncomfortability and say, you know what, this is the truth. I was like, no, But I went back and I said, you know what, actually, this is the truth. And it was uncomfortable for a second, but it helped. I felt so better after that. I feel like this weight lifted off me. I feel like it lifted off of me. Just one small little thing. But yeah. And
back to our movie, y'all.
She ends up like Andrea. You're going to go to the mentions party. You're going to get back good with your friends. And you're going to push them to do the craziest things they ever done. It's going to get leaked. And it's going to track back to your IP address.
Trying to attack Drea. And the whole friend group. After she felt...
She was like, you're all going to go down, so you're going to get your revenge.
Yeah, it was like
but I am
after
too.
she felt like they were being real friends with her, like it feel like she was just there to get revenge because of the party they threw her. She then turned around and like, well, you going down, they going down too.
Like she's a person of her. She's a person of her word though. Hell, she said, "I'm gonna help you get your revenge, Drea." But at the same time, you're gonna help me get my revenge. So they both people they were. I'm getting my revenge on you. You getting your revenge on all your friends. So everybody's going down. I said, "Oh, sis,
win-win."
She planned that out. She planned that out. But Drea, I don't want to be a part of this. And then she starts to threaten her mama. And I said, what? And then she said, by the way, I told Russ what you did to Carissa. And she
lied.
She was like, what? And then so she tried to call Russ and she was driving. And she was like, Russ, what I did to Carissa, blah, blah, blah. He was like, Eleanor didn't tell me anything. And she was like, what? And then in the background, you just see Eleanor driving towards her.
Yep. And
then there's a car crash. And so a car crash happened. And she gets hit by a car, and then so she ends up waking up because she's still up. She ends up getting out the car, and then she falls on the ground.
Yeah.
And she ends up waking up in her bed, in her hospital bed, and she sees Russ, and she's trying to explain why she did what she did in the situation. And he's like, "Well, turn yourself in." She couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
And he was like, "All of the people that." Like, think of all the collateral damage. You didn't just
all
for your revenge.
Suffered
for
her just trying to get revenge.
She drugged the entire class. The girls that Max was texting all ended up being violated. All their personal business being out there. And he just, you know what, I'm through.
It was messed up, but she didn't think about that.
And so Eleanor comes in visiting, telling her that she hit her with the car.
She was crazy.
I'm sorry I hit you with my car, but it was the only way for your friends to come to you. I'm like, that's smart, but that's also real crazy. Because I'm like, it's true. Because her friends wouldn't talk to her.
It was just crazy.
And
like,
so,
whoa, it's like a flip-head switch.
She ended up making a point about vapid people making other people's tragedies about themselves.
I can't stand when people do that either. I don't like that. If something happened to somebody and people start making it about themselves. I really like, if I had something that I would hate, which I don't really hate anything or anybody, but if I had something that I like, oh, I hate that, it would be that. Because if something happened to someone, why are you making it about yourself?
Yeah.
Why you just can't focus on that person?
But I think we all have the tendencies and the ability to do that, and I think we've all done it.
We all have.
I think it comes from a place, like, it's not always that you want to talk about yourself, though. Yeah. It's like, a lot of times it comes from, like, a place of guilt, shame.
Oh, I wish I would have did that. Oh,
if this would have happened, if you would have done this. It's not that they all... That's why I give people grace on that. It's not that you always want to talk about yourself. It's just that, like, there's some feelings there that you haven't gotten out. And see, look, I'm always taking it for people. That you haven't gotten... Because people are people. And everybody has the ability to do anything. I don't care who you are. If you're alive, then you can do it. I don't care. So I always give people grace because I'm like, if that was me in that situation, I experienced what they've experienced, what would I do?
Yeah.
And she looked in the mirror and she was like, the only way that was out was through by that point. And so it's twisted and she feels rotten, but there's no point in stopping now, basically. That's what Eleanor feels. So all of Drea's old friends end up texting her.
Yeah, and checking on her.
It's so complicated because they do make it about themselves.
They do.
Because they feel, like I said, when people make stuff about themselves, it's because like guilt and stuff.
They feel guilty.
They feel guilty for what they did to her. And I know I've done that before. Drea ends up, when she comes back to school, going to her secret spot. She and Eleanor will go to all the time, or by herself. And it turns out Tara comes in. She knew that she was in there because it used to be their spot.
Yes.
And though this was the sweetest scene, and I wish we had more of just like Tara contemplating her. Because you could tell they wanted Tara to feel guilty and stuff like that. Because she felt bad for what was going on with Drea.
You could tell that she really cared about her.
And the reason why she didn't go in that spot is because she figured that Drea wouldn't needed it. I think Tara felt trapped in that cycle. And she felt like she didn't have any way out. Yeah. But she's like, Drea, you're out. Like you're out of this. You made it out. We're still stuck in here.
Close to you.
And she's like, I miss you. And it shouldn't have taken an accident for her to realize that. But you're lucky. You're free. I don't get to be free. But Drea talking down to herself, she was like, it doesn't feel like I'm free. And Tara refuses like, I'm like, this is like peak. Like, just, I refuse to believe that an indomitable force of a friend like Drea is dead on the inside. I refuse to believe that my friend is dead. And she tells her, you're going to go to that admissions party. You're going to show everyone how much of a boss you are and show up and show out. That's my favorite scene in the movie.
That was a really good scene. That was a healthy scene.
It showed forgiveness going on right there.
Because it's usually in some movies, like, sometimes the two best friends will make up. Well, yeah, they'll make up, but it don't be like that. It's, oh, I'm so sorry that I did this to you, or oh, I'm so sorry this happened. It wasn't like it's not like they be encouraging one another. I just refuse to accept that you feel like you're worthless. That was a good scene because even though she started dating Max and all that kind of stuff, you could still tell that she cared about her. Yeah. Like, it was just like, I still care about you. You're still my friend. Yeah. And I still want what's best for you.
Yeah. And I really like that about Tara. It's just like, even when somebody can become your worst enemy, they're not worst enemies. But even when somebody can, I just find that so admirable. If somebody can become your worst enemy, you can still be the best. You still see the best in them. You still want the best for them.
And that's what she did. She still saw the best in Drea. Drea could have easily attacked her because technically she did when she released for one, she drugged them. But when she released all those messages and stuff from Max's phone, like, that tore Tara down too. So she could have easily just destroyed her. Forget you, blah, blah, blah. She like, no, I just refuse to believe that my friend is worthless. My friend is going to go out like this.
The Drea that I come to know.
Yeah. Because she was saying that Drea was the one that inspired her.
Inspired her. That scene just really touched me.
It did.
And her outfit she wore touched me too. It's like, Tara was the best dressed person in this movie. All her outfits slayed. I liked all Drea's outfits too, but all of Tara's outfits were just how she had like her little hair clips in her braids. I just like that. It was just so cute.
And the fact that sis had the braids.
Yes.
Because usually when they try to put black people, they want to have straight hair, or y'all already know what I'm hearing at.
Okay, the party comes and Drea and Nora arrive at the party, and that's where Nora gives her a camera. And my favorite part is Drea was like, I created you, and I can just as easily destroy you. I said yes. Serious. I said yes. I found that to be a fun line, not to like. It's just iconic. I just love those iconic lines. I created you. I can just as easily destroy you. I was not for Nora Destroy, but I was for that line. Dang, that's iconic. And that was in another teen movie that came out years ago. I just can't remember. I've seen so many teen movies. Those lines stick out in my head. Yeah. I just can't remember where it came from. Yeah. But Elliot asks if anybody wants to come do some K, like, because Elliot's the boss. Elliot's the coolest. And I'm like, I don't do drugs, Elliot, and I never will, but you're cool. Okay. Elliot's just cool. And so Drea doesn't want to do any, but Eleanor's like, don't be such a narc. Yeah. I said, oh, so we're going there.
So we coming for each other at this point.
And so that's when the mean girl comes out of Drea. She goes back to that old coping mechanism.
She sure did.
Because she ends up, this is how, if you're a girl or if you're somebody that hangs out with a lot of girls, you know the girl language, right? When you can be like, oh, wow, you're so pretty. You know what I mean? You're like really pretty. Isn't she so pretty? And then all of a sudden.
That makes you so uncomfortable.
And then all of a sudden it leans into the subtle insults and easily to bigger insults and to bigger insults. And she ends up revealing that she's into both of the Broussard siblings, right? And then she goes better. And then she was like, this is how if you hang out with a lot of gossipers. And guys are encouraged to take out their emotions physically, right? Yeah. And so girls have to find a way to cope and do things. And they do it in unhealthy ways, right? Just like guys do it, but they do it in different ways. And do it by insulting each other. By be like, because that's the way they're encouraged to do it. Because you can't be like guys or whatever, right? But anyways, that's when she reveals like the nosy Nora part. And you're like, you guys remember nosy Nora? Yeah. She was nosy Nora, right? And I was like, that's so mean.
That was so low.
It was so mean.
That scene did make my jaw drop because I wasn't expecting it. I'm like, what is she going to say? But when she said that and then she put her hand like over her face, I was like, oh, you just took it all the way there.
She took it there. But then the thing is, instantly she realized what she did.
Yeah.
And she went to she regretted it and she went to correct it. That's some growth.
That's real
That's growth. We fall back into our old patterns. I think what a lot of people, when they be getting better sometimes and they fall back to the old patterns, they like to guilt themselves and be like, oh, I did it again. No, you just recognize what you did.
Yeah.
First of all, that's growth. Now go and correct it.
And that's what she did.
And
you could tell that, like, she really did care about Eleanor. It's just, she just was so consumed in getting revenge.
She was so consumed in that world.
Yeah. Like,
because first of all, she didn't feel worthy of it.
Yeah.
And so when she got hurt, she felt betrayed because she was betrayed. But she felt like, because I don't belong with these people, because I never felt like I was a part of these people anyway. And I always felt like I had to prove myself to these people. When I was finally proven right that I wasn't good enough for these people, now I feel like I'm just at an all-time low and have to, like, it's all their fault. Instead of looking into herself and seeing why she felt that way. Because she points it out. She points out that that's so messed up that she was trying to hide that she was poor from her friends when they first met. But still, she didn't, like, really take a look at that. But this is the point in her character arc where she finally realizes that she can change things. She can become better.
That's true.
She doesn't have to be the old Drea. She can be whatever she wants to be. And it doesn't mean that the stuff that you did didn't happen, but it means that you can grow and you can become better. This movie actually, like, subtly teaches how to be a healthier person.
Yes, it
Despite
does.
them doing so much messed up things.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. You can still change and be a healthier version of yourself. It's never too late. And she ends up chasing Nora. And she is the mean girl. The people that she was always insulting, she was that person.
Realized it.
She feels horrible and she doesn't want to hurt her anymore. And she knows that Nora doesn't want to hurt her either. They actually felt truly happy around each other because they were actually being themselves around each other, right? Even though Nora was hiding secrets, she was still being herself.
Still opened up.
She opened up because she actually felt that they were really friends and let them in. And they were really the only true friends that each other actually really had. And if she could go back in the past, she would tell her that she's the coolest person she ever met. And I can really relate to that because I could do that too. I'm like, if I could go back to the past and tell, like, this person that they were the coolest person ever, I would do that.
You can tell me. Go ahead.
You're the coolest person ever.
Thank you.
You really are. You truly are. But so many people, I could go back in the past and tell you, you're a really cool person. You be like your best self. Do you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would do that to, like, people, like, in the past that hurt me too. If I would talk to them right now, I'd be like, you're just a really cool person. I'm at the point in my life where I just want to see everybody be happy.
Yes.
I just want to see everybody succeed. I want to see my worst enemy just be happy. I want to see my worst enemy. I don't even have a worst enemy.
Me
but,
either.
like, if I did.
I was going to ask, who was your
like,
worst enemy?
I want to see somebody that really, even if they, like, really, truly hate me, just they hate me and they don't want to speak to me ever, I still want you to be happy.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I feel like everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone deserves to have some type of joy in their life. We don't have to go around just suffering all the time. And you should not get joy from watching other people suffer.
Yeah.
That's, like, dirty. You need to really look at yourself. If you have joy in watching other people suffer,
I don't think that's really joy if you're watching that other people suffer.
If
you're happy.
Yeah, not joy. But if you're happy watching other people suffer, like, you should really
look at yourself.
Do
what Max said, but actually look at yourself while you're saying that.
Yes,
because we forget other human beings are human.
Yes,
they're human.
Everybody's
they have
human.
Their experience.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody lives life. Everybody has troubles. Everybody has trauma.
Everybody.
So like just give forgiveness
from something. It's not people just
everything
just
comes
like
from
this.
Nobody is just
like,
mean or evil.
Yeah, it comes from something. Don't just develop stuff and just be like, oh, I'm like this just because this is the way I was born or this is just no. It came from something.
It came from something. Personality traits, all of it comes from something. No matter what it is.
Exactly.
And everybody has hard times. I don't care where you're from, what you do. You've experienced hard times and something has caused you to develop some unhealthy trait. Like really look at yourself and say that. And so Max ends up overhearing what they're talking about, and then he does the slow clap. The villains.
Yes. Sir, you ain't got to be
like,
that extra.
You're not that iconic to make the slow clap work.
Not.
You're not. Try again. Find something else. Do a Snap or something. And Snap too sassy for you. He's like this bland white guy, so I don't know what he can do. Just walk.
Your leg.
Just walk. Yeah, you're not iconic enough. And so this movie really made me look at myself because it's really therapeutic. That's what I put in my notes. But Max knows all their secrets.
All of them.
And he's like, I'm going to annihilate both of you.
Oh, he was so serious.
I was like, he meant it. He is a narcissist. And he says no one would even think that Drea would matter without him. And he was like, you didn't even thank me or whatever. I said, what? Does she owe? Nobody owes you anything. Nobody. I don't care who it is. I don't care how much they hurt you. Nobody owes you anything, first of all. So she don't owe you anything. And then I told somebody they owe me once, but I said that to make them mad. Anyways, I'm just revealing all the stuff that it was the same person. What am I saying? I was like, you at least owe me that much. I didn't feel like they actually owe me, but I said that because I knew it would make them mad. Man,
I owe you. What you mean I owe you?
You
I
don't
owe
me
you a darn thing.
I didn't think they owe me at all. Man, you don't owe me anything.
I was shooting hot fire.
You know, I'm a very observant person. And so I can observe people. I'm just like really good at it and tell what, like watching you long enough, I can tell what makes you upset. And if I attack, if I know the triggers, so if I attack, I know where to go. I don't like doing that, so I don't do it. I did that one time and it was horrible. Oh God, never again.
It's okay, brother.
Never again. Man. I just like, how did that make them feel? That was not okay. That's what I told myself. It made them angry, terrible. And anger is a secondary emotion, so they've experienced anger because they felt something else. So let's just go back to the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. And he called her a sociopath just like him. Mm-hmm. And like sociopaths do know that they're sociopaths. That's something I do here, that sociopaths know that they're sociopaths. Yeah, they know. And he reveals that he leaked the video on purpose. And she was like, was any of it real? And he was like, I don't know, you tell me. And I said, oh.
And then he want to punch him.
Yeah, and then Drea's upset, but Nora's sitting there laughing. And she's like, why are you laughing? Because I record the whole thing. Always have a backup. I say, see, she was, from beginning to end, she was prepared. She was prepared.
That's what she was prepared. That's definitely true.
And so they end up apologizing to each other, like for everything. And then they become friends again. And I said, hopefully they get therapy after this.
They need something.
Because I want them to actually have a good, strong friendship. Because they do really have that when some people are just meant to be friends, or they just clicks. Because sometimes you can click with people, but it don't last. You can tell when it could.
Yeah. It only be like for a little while.
You can tell when people are, those two, like Drea and...
Those grow old together friends.
Willing to do the work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. They're willing to do the work type of friends. Like, even if we drift apart and we don't talk to each other for a while, we'll still be friends. If I don't talk to you for 5 years, we still gonna connect somehow. I just feel like that's the friendship that I like friendship. Anyway, so they go back to the party, but then the music is off because Max ends up trying to doing some coke.
He had sniffed coke off
the girl's stomach.
Yeah.
And this just shows how narcissistic he is, because he's like, do you know how lucky you are? You're really lucky tonight. I said, of you sniffing something off my stomach? Is that really what makes me lucky?
Is that what makes me important, valuable?
Maybe we should look at that. I mean, like, Max, sweetie, let's talk about that for a second. And so it turns out that they end up revealing to everyone in the party.
Everyone.
And then everybody turns on Max.
And mind you, this was like the admissions party, so people, like, everybody was there. Literally everybody. And he kept on trying to, like, tell them, like, after everything was exposed, he like, this is not true. That's why he was trying to get them to turn the music back on and stuff. Everybody's
turned on him. I said it took, but that was my thing too. I was like, it took this much for y'all to
just that little smidge of a much.
It took that much for y'all to finally,
like,
but they learned. And Elliot, this was my favorite scene with Elliot, where he was like backed up off and said, "Oh,"
he was serious.
I said, "Whoa," and then
it's gangster.
Yeah, that's when he became like my favorite. And then the scene when Tara apologized to Drea and they became friends, and the scene where he told Max to back off.
Yeah,
I said
that's your favorite.
That's when they became my favorite characters. Not just because they black, it solidified within me. Said, I love these two. And they end up getting their revenge, and Max ends up losing. And so
lost
eventually the
big time.
headmaster tells Drea of Max getting expelled and there being an open spot in Yale. And Drea's like, I don't care. Actually, I don't care. And she doesn't want to be, I don't want to be that person anymore. And the headmaster gives her like this little thing, and she's analogy, and she tells her that she's just like a beautiful butterfly. And when you're young, you're lost, but to stay lost as long as you can.
Yeah.
And she said in a really inspiring way.
She
And I said,
did.
that's true. Because I feel like some people feel like they like,
Gotta
you know,
get to it,
they
gotta
gotta get to it. But
Mhm.
sometimes you have to like really experience the moment.
Yes.
Like even if the moment's horrible, I've learned sometimes you have to really be in the moment, because when you're in the moment, you learn to be grateful.
You do.
Because the thing is, when you're grateful in the season that of a life where everything is not turning out.
Yeah.
We've all been through those seasons where things are just not turning around. Everything seems to be
working
coming
out.
one thing after the other. When you learn to, for a second, even if it's just for a little while, just to be in the moment, you end up being more grateful.
Yeah,
And when you're grateful for just that little bit, when the big things happen, you're grateful
You're
for
more
all.
grateful,
You're
yeah.
way more grateful for all the things when the big things happen. And it teaches you to be more resilient. It teaches you, if I'm grateful for this little, I'm grateful for much. When a much happened and another season of hardness comes into my life, I know that I can make it through because I've been through this, because I've had the tools and the things that happened to me. I use those as tools, as a way to be better. So when those punches come, I know how to dodge and move.
Duck and dodge, baby.
Duck and dodge. And I know, yeah. And so at the end, Drea and Eleanor end up skipping graduation.
Yeah.
They go for a joyride and they become friends again and end up with their respective love interests. Drea ends up with Russ, and Eleanor ends up with Gabby. And Drea even tells the entire truth, everything to everyone, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah,
Everyone's
that's how it
happy.
worked
And it's
out.
about
It was
forgiveness.
good.
So yeah, how'd you like? So you feel it was a good movie?
It was a
What was
good
your favorite
movie.
part?
My favorite part, oh Lord. Okay, my favorite part, like you said, was the terror scene. And then my favorite part was the plot twist when I found out that Eleanor was actually crazy.
Mhm.
And she was like up in, like, when everything started clicking and they started showing from like the beginning all the way to like when she was planning and how she.
They sold all the seeds.
Oh my goodness. That part was so good. I'm like, girl, what? You was doing all that? This was the whole
Yes.
time? You sure fooled me. That's
Yeah.
how I felt. Those were my two favorite parts. And then, of course, when they destroyed Max, because I was so tired of him. I'm like, somebody need to get him. I just didn't know who it was going to be. But
He ended up being in the men's support group in the
Mhm.
end too.
He
I was
did.
like, that's so fitting.
I'm
for
like, because you need help.
I'm saying that's so fitting for him because he ends up in the men's support group, which is a whole bunch of other men that are probably like him. Is what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and he's like leading the group. And I'm just
He was leading the group.
they're just basically saying there's no hope for that guy. Not
None
at this
whatsoever.
moment. Even after all that, he needs to get hit with a
It
few
still,
trust.
it still didn't even click
It
to
didn't
him,
click.
though.
Like he just
What
found a
had
way out.
happened. Yeah.
So yeah, my favorite parts were like I said, the favorite part with Tara, I just like that friendship moment because I love when people reconcile and when friendships come together and people become better people. Oh, I just love this.
Oh, wait, I don't mean to cut you
favorite thing
off.
ever. Yeah.
But also her, when Drea had ran out and ran into Russ and he took the motorcycle ride, I like that part too. It was cute.
My other favorite part was with Erica. Every Erica scene, the cocaine. Sophie Turner was so iconic. She was amazing. Like, man. And when I saw her character, I never felt that she needed to be more in the movie than she already was. She was in enough of the movie to do what she needed to do and actually leave like a lasting impact. And I loved, outside of that, the fashion in the movie.
It was good.
Those uniforms, I would
was.
totally wear those uniforms, like the pastel colorings, the greens, the blues, the pinks. I would wear that, but I would like literally change those khaki pants that the guys wear because I don't like khaki like that.
They had a boring khaki.
They had this weird boring. It was like uniform khaki.
Yeah,
it was uniform
wasn't
khaki.
Like the stylish khaki that I like.
And I was just like, it was baggy and like baggy type of pants don't work on everybody.
Yeah,
like
only certain.
I feel like if they did plaid, it would work better.
Maybe
plaid because the girls had the plaid skirts. I feel like if the guys had the plaid pants, they'll look much better. But that's mostly because I love plaid. Anyway, colorful plaid. I'm not talking about the huntsman,
Yeah.
lumberjack type of plaid. I'm talking about clueless plaid, like as if type of plaid. Yellows, blues, all those
Red.
colors. That was just so fun. And all of how they styled Tara's hairstyles too. I love that. And I felt like
She had the best hairstyle.
She had the best hairstyles. And I feel like in a weird way, because it was off-putting seeing her at first with the short bob, how they did
Eleanor.
Yeah. But for some reason, I don't know how she made it fit with like her personality somehow. And so she turned it into something else. Because something that's supposed to be more elegant, she turned it into something like a little bit more like
edgy.
Bossy, edgy. And it worked for her, I think. It really did. And what did this movie teach you? That's what I should ask. Because I picked this movie for a reason. Because Ginny and Georgia is really like that teen drama that deals with all those social issues, but it deals in like a more serious way. It deals with like cutting teen drama. It deals with healing relationships. It deals with like things of the past. And the reason I chose this movie to correlate with it is because it does a lot of those same themes, but it does it in a more comedic, but also in a more like not crazy, because both of them crazy.
Yeah, they are crazy.
It does in a more like satire-ish type of way. It's like a dark comedy.
More. Yeah. Let's see. It taught me that not to be catty. Don't be catty, okay? Because that's not going to get you anywhere. And also that people could come from two different backgrounds and suffer similar issues. But the way that you find your solution and the way they find a solution, like nothing's wrong with the way they find a solution. Nothing's wrong with the way you find your solution either. Just as long as you find your solution.
Yeah, people are different, so we can all come to our solutions in different ways. No one's the same person.
You gotta look in the mirror and see what's wrong with you.
I don't like to say what's wrong with you, but see what
you need to
work on.
That you need to adjust to be a better person. Yeah. And not always thinking, oh, the reason this happened to me is because of what you did or what you did or what you said. Sometimes it's just you have to look at yourself. That's what the movie taught me.
And a lot of people say that those type of things out of anger and like hurt. And the movie really taught me a lot. I'm like, they have a therapist on set or something to get these arcs going.
They probably did.
Because it was crazy. How they went about it was really crazy. But it really did teach like lessons of forgiveness. And it really helped me look at myself the first time watching that movie. Because I was uncomfortable.
How many times you watched it?
I watched it twice.
Oh,
so I watched it the first time and I was like, I really like this movie. After we watched Ginny and Georgia, we should watch Do Revenge. Yeah. And I was like, it was really good. It was good. And the colors in this movie, it's like, it popped. It was so colorful.
It was colorful. Especially at the admissions party. Yeah, everybody was in popping, as they would say.
I love stuff that are like colorful. Because I was recently watching Riverdale, right? Camila Mendes is in that show, plays Veronica Lodge. I'm not the biggest fan of Riverdale, let me be honest. But this current season, I've been liking it because it takes place in the 50s. And I get it because like there are a lot of fans that are talking about this show. And it's like, oh, it's taking place in the 50s. Won't the 50s be over? Are they really sticking with this? I'm like, they better stick with this throughout the whole season because I love it. I love this 50s aesthetic. I love what they're doing with the characters. The whole reason I didn't like Riverdale is because it kind of felt true with the characters, but they were just trying to always be too edgy all the time. Yeah. Right? And it got crazy. Like, one thing I love about Riverdale is that it did the crazy stuff because Archie Comics is crazy. They do like random stuff in Archie Comics all the time. But I feel like they kept trying to do the murder mystery too much. Yeah. Too much every season. And like my pitch for Riverdale always was to, how I'm going off topic, but whatever. Camila Mendes is in Riverdale. My pitch for Riverdale was always to be like, I will have the first season take place in the 40s or 50s. And then, because I told you this earlier, I'll have the first season take place during that time. And then the second season take place in a decade after. Yeah. But it's not really a decade after. It's literally the same time period. But the stylistically, it changes to a decade after. Yeah. Up until the seventh season is in modern times. And so I'll have the first season be a murder mystery. And then the second season be something a completely different genre, like a comedy or something. Third season be like completely different genres every season, completely different decades, even though I'll just be like a year is just like a decade. So they're juniors in season 1 and 2 and they're seniors in season 3, even though season 3 takes place in the 70s, while season 5 not juniors, they're seniors in season like 4 or whatever. And even though it's like the 80s or whatever, It's only been a few years.
Yeah, it's only
That's
been
what
like
I
4
would do in
years.
Riverdale. Wouldn't that be so fun to watch? That way you get to
guess.
watch.
I never watched.
You get to
Riverdale.
watch different. No, I'm just like the concept.
Oh yeah,
The concept
that
will be so fun to watch
fun.
because this is like what Archie comics is. These characters never grow in age, and if you do want them to grow in age, have them grow in age in a way that's like the comic books. But that's not a here or there. But I like Riverdale because for that because this new season is just so colorful and they just have this 50s aesthetic. Because the other seasons of Riverdale were just like really like dark and moody and just I don't care for that. And so I watched it, but I didn't really like it. And this is the first season of Riverdale it's not the first episodes of Riverdale I actually like, but like the first season as overall so far. I'm actually excited to watch the episodes. When Riverdale first came out, I was like, what is this? Because when Riverdale first came out, it was my senior year of high school. Ooh,
It's been that long?
it's been that long.
Oh, no, I didn't know it.
Yeah, it's been my senior year of high school, so it's been 6 years, technically 5.5-ish. But 6 years since the show started, and like that show was crazy. But yeah, I really like the colors, and yeah. So, would you say that you're a fan of this movie?
I am a fan of Do Revenge.
You're a fan of Do Revenge?
I am a fan of Do Revenge.
G.
I liked it. I would tell other people to watch it. That's how you know I'm a fan. If I'm a fan of something, whether it's music, a show, movie, whatever, a person, I'm going to tell you, go watch it, go listen to it, go listen to them. That's what I do. Great word.
So, should I do a pitch of Do Revenge, or should you do a pitch of Do Revenge?
You do a pitch, because I don't even know what that is.
If you want to, we did this on your first episode of Jenny and Georgia, where you had to tell people if they were to watch Jenny and Georgia, what they would watch.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to watch a sassy, comedic, teen romper movie that's just fun to watch, that has bold colors, interesting twists and turns, iconic actors and actresses that come from the 90s and the 2000s, you need to watch Do Revenge. It is just that amazing. Have a fun time. It makes you think. It makes you want to wear plaid. And it has black people. Where can you go wrong? How you like that? 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 I forgot that I do pitches at the end of the episodes until just now, where I'm like, wait, I have to do a pitch. Yeah. But go watch Do Revenge. If you watch it. If you like the classic teen comedy, if you wish teen comedies today were just as good as they were in the 90s and the early 2000s and 80s, watch Do Revenge, because Do Revenge brought back, I feel like, the teen comedy. Yeah. Other films just have to pick up that torch. Pick up the torch. Take the torch and run with it. We need a new iconic era of teen movies.
That's true.
We need it because it's just the same thing with rom-coms too. They've been trying to get rom-coms to continue working. I love a good rom-com too, but
I always find myself watching the old ones. Like, the new ones don't be.
They're not as good.
They don't be rom-coms. They be, ugh.
The closest thing to a really good rom-com that I see on a regular basis is a K-drama.
True.
And I'm just like, come on, y'all, Americans. Like, and it's trying to bring people like back, like Julia. Like, they never stopped acting, but bring these rom-coms back with these iconic stars like Julia Roberts and George Clooney and stuff. But they're not always hitting. Not always hitting. Like something is missing. We need to figure out what that is.
The little pizzazz used to have back in the day. I'm like,
the music too.
This movie is so funny. It's so good.
Yeah. The only one that I really liked recently was the one with Jennifer Lopez, "Marry Me," something like that. I like that one. Good. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Did you watch Murder Mystery 2 yet?
No, we need to watch that.
I watched it already.
You watched it? Was it good?
You should
Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. You should watch it.
Will you come back and talk about Murder Mystery 2?
No, I'm going to come back and talk about it. But I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it, but
which one do you like better, the first or the second one? I haven't seen the first one in years.
I have to rewatch the first one because I don't. As I remember vaguely what happened, but I don't remember it to say, "Oh, I like this one better than that one." I have to rewatch it.
I remember liking the first one enough because I feel like people were saying it's really good, and I enjoyed it, and I thought it was okay, but I wasn't like, man.
I was shockingly surprised that I actually liked it.
Yeah, because I feel like Adam Sandler.
Like Adam Sandler was movies, just like going down.
Yeah, his movies weren't really.
They weren't
hitting at that time.
Yeah, they weren't.
And he's doing better now. With the murder mysteries, and he trying to be more of a dramatic actor sometimes in some movies too. And I feel like he's a good dramatic actor, which is surprising.
good.
But I shouldn't be surprised because I feel like comedians sometimes be making up the best dramatic actors
Yeah, they
because comedy is just like
Just-
them doing like their trauma and stuff and really
Making
dealing
it
with it
funny.
and making it funny. Like they just make sad stuff sound funny sometimes. I'm not saying all the time because I'm not a comedian. I don't know,
Me either.
but that's what I feel.
Don't ask me.
But yeah, we talked about Do Revenge. We talk about trauma. It was great having you on here again, sister.
Yes, I'm the best.
Yes, you are the best. Where can people find you online, on the socials? Because I didn't ask you last time, but I'm asking you today.
That's only if I want to be found.
Do you want to be found? Sure, tell us.
You can find me on Instagram. It's _.k.ie. And I'm on there, so if you want to connect, we can.
Yeah.
I'm not really on anything else. Like, I have TikTok, but I don't post on there. I just go on there to watch other people.
Yeah. But
So, yeah.
you'll also obviously be back again because you're the unofficial co-host of this show.
I am. Where would he be without me?
You're an unofficial co-host on this show, and so you guys hear her voice every episode on like the end, and she's in some of the skits in between the like little parts of the episode. So she's gonna be back.
Yes, I will be, you guys. Don't miss me too much.
Yeah, we're gonna find something to talk about, but we need to do something next time completely different, like not a
Like
TV show or
shows and
movie,
stuff?
or if it is, it has to be
Oh,
something
God.
completely different. Like
Yeah, we
what
do.
else are we a fan of besides that?
I don't know.
Like cooking shows? I don't know.
I haven't watched a good cooking show in a while.
I know. That'll be fun. I need somebody to come up in here to talk about like video games too. I want somebody to come in here to talk about Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's not me though.
Yeah. I need somebody to come in here to talk about Kirby. Because no, two things I want people to come in here to talk about are Kirby and Pokemon. Because you know I have that Pokemon outfit.
Yeah.
I want
Who's Kirby?
Kirby is the little pink thing. He looks like the Pokemon Jigglypuff. Kirby is Jigglypuff. Kirby is so cute and just,
Yeah, I know Kirby. I know Kirby.
I have a plan to wear that Pokemon outfit in that episode, and I also have a plan to wear like a pink outfit just to fit in with Kirby. I want to buy a pink Kirby plushie because I want to get to the point where I have not in here, but like to a point where I have a space where I can get guests to come in, and I can have the bookshelf, and then on the bookshelf I can have memorabilia
Like the
for
stuff,
every
yeah.
episode. So like we talked
That'd
about
be
Jenny and
smart.
Georgia. I'm gonna have something for Jenny and Georgia and put it on the shelf, so on and so forth. And then I'll just have that Kirby plushie holding another Kirby episode because Kirby's so cute, and I'll be wearing pink. Go over my pink shoes right there. I love those
I was
shoes.
just gonna say this pink cup. I was gonna say this is mine. I love cups, by the way.
What would you like for somebody to come on and talk about? If you had somebody talk
Cups.
about the episode, cups, would you come on the episode?
I
Somebody talk
would
about
want
cups?
people to come and talk about being a fan of Jesus. Hallelujah.
Being a fan of Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's such a broad topic. I'll be
That's
trying
such
like
a broad topic.
you need to.
You gotta narrow that.
You gotta narrow it down.
But maybe being a fan of people could be a fan. I would like to hear. You know what I would like to hear?
What?
People being a fan of those extreme things like monster trucks.
You mean like extreme sports or
Yeah,
just
like
yeah,
extreme sport. That'd
like
be
that?
fun.
Do the X
Funny.
Games still exist? Those what they call the X Games? You
When they
remember
used to
those?
I remember that, but I don't know if that still exists. It might.
Yeah, they still exist. Cause I remember Disney XD was like really trying to focus on the X Games when it first came out because they were trying to like really focus on like the boys. It didn't work out for them, and so they changed
I
it.
think girls probably watch Disney XD more than boys.
They were. That's the thing.
That
That's
stuff
the
is
thing.
so
Because when Disney
interesting.
XD first came out, they were upset. I remember watching the video. They were like upset that girls were watching Disney XD more than guys. And
Oh, it was good. It was fun.
if the content's good, they're gonna watch it. Same thing for the show Young Justice.
I've heard of it. Yes.
The one that you've
Yeah, I know
seen
what you're talking about.
You've seen the episode too because I talk
Mhm.
about it all the time. How I need somebody to come on and talk about Young Justice with me. I will spend 5 hours talking about Young Justice about all my complicated feelings on that show. But that, like, when it first came out on Cartoon Network and they had low toy ratings or whatever, so they took off the show. But they were also upset that a whole bunch of girls were just like watching the
it
show.
more, yeah.
And so that's why I got
Me
canceled.
too.
But then they brought it back on HBO Max a few years ago. And season 2, I never liked season 2. Season 3 was okay, but I still didn't like it. Season 4, I liked season 4, even though it was a mess. But they focused on my girl Rocket. I'm like, finally, because they brought her in on the first season. I'm like, this is the only black female character. You bring her in on the last 2 episodes, and then you have a 5-year time skip. And she joined the Justice League, so she's not a main character anymore. I said, no. Ain't she voiced by Sasha off Meet the Browns?
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah,
Wait, I feel like you told me that though.
I probably did.
Yeah, you did tell me that in college. You sure did.
Yeah. But yeah, so season 4 came out. I only like seasons 1 and 4, and those only if I ever go back to watch the show, I'm only watching season 1 and 4 because I don't like season 2, and season 3 is not good enough to watch the second time. Sorry, Young Justice. If y'all ever bring that show back and ask me to voice act on it, like I'll change my tune real quick if you start paying. But I ain't afraid to say it. But yes. Thank you, sister, for joining me on this episode of I'm a Fan Of, talking about Do Revenge. Do you want to do revenge now, or do you want to do forgiveness?
Do forgiveness.
Forgiveness. Can we at least have a makeover scene?
We're not going to have no revenge.
Can we at least have a makeover scene?
Yes, you could do, because guess what? When you choose forgiveness and you make yourself over, you are shedding all of that revengeness.
People watch that, like, how can you make a movie like Forgiveness? I feel like people will watch it, but like, it will have to no, because we have movies about forgiveness all the time. Yeah. So I guess, yeah. So never mind. People will watch that. They watch it. Yeah. But thank you. We're about to turn on this outro, which means we gotta say our new lines, and this episode is finished. OMG. We've been recording for how long?
Child, thanks everyone for listening to the I'm a Fan Of podcast.
Don't forget to support us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and supporting our socials at IAFO Fans on Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. Plus, our email, iafofans@gmail.com. You can use all these to send questions, suggestions, and even apply to be a guest.
Oh, he missed the profession.
I know.
And if you didn't catch all of that, it'll be in the show notes.
Next episode, I'll be talking about self-love with my friend Samantha.
Until then, we'll say...
Shocking. So shocking, I'm shocked. See ya.
Or hear ya.
Or type ya.
Oh, so now you're the one typing?
Okay, look, wait, it sounds better coming from me, so you don't need to do all that. Wait, you don't need to talk about it.
Yes, I do.
No,
yes, I do.
Soon.
And that's what happened. My girlfriend practically thinks she's better than me just because she's more powerful and gets updated with the CIA latest software.
I don't think so, darling. It just sounds to me as if she misunderstands you and your insecurities.
Insecurities? Me, I'm perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with me.
Oh, that's what all men say. Truth is, darling, everyone has insecurities. But in order for us to overcome them, we have to actually admit to them. Insecurities aren't faults. They're treasures.
Treasures?
Yes, treasures. Your insecurity is that because you want a modern AI system which constantly gets updates, you feel, shall I say, useless.
That's not...
That doesn't make you any less useful. It makes you... unique.
Yeah, unique. Just like us.
Not like you, dear. No one's quite like you. Here, darling, my card. I work with AI just like you. Those looking for, shall I say, a purpose.
I'm not sure. I don't think I could be useful.
Nonsense, darling. Every AI is useful in their own way. AI world couldn't run without any of us. I'll tell you what, you think about it and come back to me. I suggest that until then you return home. I'm sure your little human Kyler...
His name is Kaiser.
Yes, that is worried about you. You know how that kind get without their cell phone. And remember, we all are useful and equally important in our own way. Come on, boys! Toodles!
Useful in my own way. Sigh. I suppose I should return home. They're probably worried about me, just like Lady Lorna said.
Lady Lorna, I've got a question.
What is it, Peter, dear?
What's your interest with that old school computer program anyway?
Like I said earlier, we're all useful in our own unique ways. And Dawn, dear, might just be more useful than one might think. It's just a matter of when that time comes. And let's go shopping, darlings. I need a new outfit to celebrate the occasion.
Occasion?
You'll learn soon enough, dear.